We are back from the CSI Baseball Complex. This is Joe Foreman joined by David Pizzuto for game number 2 here from the CSI Baseball Complex on day 1 of this CUNYAC Championship weekend. Of course, games played elsewhere on the day as well. We've seen 2 teams eliminated from the tournament, those being Lehman and CCNY. Lehman dropped their single elimination game to Finlandia, and just a few minutes ago, CCNY lost their elimination game to Baruch College. Baruch moves on in the tournament to take on the College of Staten Island. Now, moving forward, it is double elimination for all teams remaining in the tournament. Finlandia did lose to John Jay as well on the day, so Finlandia picked up a loss beyond their win over Lehman in their first game of the day. And tonight, the Dolphins play their first game on a very warm evening here at the CSI Baseball Complex, and Christian Capion takes the mound for the College of Staten Island. Capion has been the guy for the Dolphins so far this season. We knew he would be the starter coming into this game, and the lineup he will face for the Baruch College Bearcats is as follows. Leading off is the catcher, number 23, Donovan Hunt. Behind him is the second baseman, number 2, Michael McGrorty. Batting third is the pitcher, number 32, J.P. Ramirez. Gerardo Rocky is in the cleanup spot, wearing number 5 and playing first base. Batting fifth is the left fielder, Liam O'Gara. Batting sixth is the third baseman, number 25, Angel Acevedo. Batting seventh, the right fielder, number 3, Edwin St. Hilaire. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 8, David Capion. And batting ninth, the center fielder, number 7, Elvis Klein.
Yeah, Joe, and they will face, like you mentioned, Chris Capion. Capion is the CUNY Pitcher of the Year. We just learned that, of course, just earlier today when the CUNY announced their All-Stars. You see the numbers on your screen: 5-1, 2.93 ERA, 40 innings pitched, even 50 hits, 48 innings pitched, 50 hits, 19 runs, 15 of them earned, 8 walks, and 43 Ks. He easily has been the ace of this CSI pitching staff, and he's really been the most consistent of the pitchers all year long, Joe.
And this Baruch lineup that he will face remains largely the same as it was in game number 1. As I take a look, I actually don't believe any player that was not a starter in game 1 is starting in game 2. Really, the only change is the pitcher for Baruch College in this game. As I look down the order, no other changes. So it is J.P. Ramirez to the mound, and I believe Liam O'Gara to left field is the second change for the Bearcats in their second game of the day against the Dolphins, as we're about set to get underway here from the CSI Baseball Complex. Game 2 of our coverage here on CSI Sportsnet today on day 1 of CUNYAC Championship Weekend. It will be Donovan Hunt stepping into the box to face Christian Capion.
Yeah, so we waste, obviously, no time here as the teams got ready pretty promptly, but we started about 28, 29 minutes since the end of game 1, so delayed start for sure, over an hour of a delay. The original time was 6 o'clock. Instead, we're going to get set about 7:07 as the plate umpire gets settled in. We'll get ready for first pitch here.
Donovan Hunt, the batter, had 6 plate appearances in the game earlier against the Beavers of CCNY, and he takes down and away for ball 1, had 1 base hit in those 6 plate appearances. Comes the 1-0 pitch, and that misses down and away as well, and Capion quickly falls behind 2-0. Capion, not a pitcher who issues many walks, only 6 walks over 46 innings pitched this year. Here's the 2-0, and a big swing and a miss by Hunt. That runs the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. And that's it out to right field shallow. Coming on is Miola, and he makes the catch for the first out of the game. A lot of noise from the fans here at the CSI Baseball Complex, certainly into this game early. First time they've gotten to see the Dolphins play on the day. They were treated to a nearly 3.5-hour affair between Baruch and CCNY as 2 Dolphins were seated behind home plate, and the home plate umpires told them to get out of there and move back toward the dugout. I think they were the ball chasers for this game, and the home plate umpire not allowing them to remain seated behind home plate. He actually sent 2 Bearcats back to the dugout as well. They had 3 players gathered around the on-deck circle, and 2 of them were sent back into the dugout. So Michael McGrorty is the batter, and that evens the count at 1-1 as Capion misses down and away with the breaking ball. McGrorty had 5 plate appearances in the game earlier against CCNY. as he takes ball 2. In those 5 plate appearances, he had 4 base hits, drove in a pair, scored 2 runs as well, as that's topped foul off the netting in front of the Dolphins dugout.
Yeah, you see McGroarty entering the afternoon, having batted 400 coming in. Of course, against CCNY, was able to scatter a couple of hits as well.
2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Here's the pitch from Capion. And that's swung on and missed for strike 3. Christian Capion picks up his first strikeout early in this game for out number 2 in the first inning.
Yeah, you know what? And this is a definitely a big departure from what Baruch did in the top half of the first inning. Of course, against CCNY when they plated 6 runs. So good start here. 1 more to go for Capion.
I believe J.P. Ramirez was just announced in as the left fielder. That spot in our lineup had the pitcher, and then the incorrect number was given to us, so it went from 30 to 32, which is Ramirez. We'll get clarification on that in just a moment. J.P. Ramirez, one of the leading hitters on this Bearcats team, and he takes a called strike, evening the count at 1. Dave has moved down the hall to get clarification on the Bearcats lineup. Initially, the lineup given to us had Nicholas Altopiedi in the 3 spot, listed as the pitcher, but Altopiedi has not pitched at all this season, so that didn't seem right, and we checked in on that. And we're then told that Ramirez is the pitcher, though he was just announced into the game as the left fielder. Here Ramirez faces a 1-2 count. The sun is beginning to set over the CSI baseball complex, as that's taken down and away for ball 2. Thankfully for us, the temperature has dropped a bit as well.
Yeah, J.P. Ramirez is listed as the pitcher on the official scorecard. Now we'll see what happens here when they take the field. More on that in a sec.
As Ramirez takes a call at strike 3, didn't like that call, and that will bring the top half of the first inning to a close. A 1-2-3 inning on the mound for Christian Capion. Dolphins get their first turn at bat when we come back here on CUNYAC Championship Weekend. No score through the first half inning of play.
You make me wear my bike helmet.
Taught me never to run with scissors.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
And to follow the swimming rules.
You're always looking out for me and trying to keep me safe.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
Here in the garage.
Closet.
Shoebox under the bed. Where anyone can get to it. How safe is that?
How safe is that?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. If you own a firearm and are not using it, please be responsible and be sure that it's stored in a safe place. Remember, always lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org.
Bottom of the first inning, about to get underway, and it is indeed the left-handed throwing J.P. Ramirez who will get the start here in Game 2 for the Bearcats at Baruch College. Very limited work for him on the season. We'll have more on his numbers in just a moment as we get a look at the Dolphins lineup that he will face in this game. Leading off will be the center fielder, number 1, Jordan Wilson, batting second. The third baseman, number 39, Anthony DeMarco. Batting third is the catcher, number 35, Sean Becker. In the cleanup spot is the right fielder, number 23, Nick Miola. At first base and batting fifth is number 9, Frank Muzio. Batting sixth and playing left field is number 25, Glenn Glenister. Batting seventh and playing second is number 11, Anthony Lozada. The designated hitter, John Pomarico, is batting eighth, wearing number 32, and batting ninth for the Dolphins, the shortstop, number 2, Jet Navertny. I did mention very limited work for J.P. Ramirez on the mound thus far this season. Ramirez comes in with a record of 0-1. He's only appeared in 2 games to this point in this season, one of those a start. He's pitched to a 9.64 ERA, has only thrown 4 2/3 innings, has allowed 9 hits in those 4 2/3, 11 runs, only 5 earned. He has walked 3 and struck out 5, so a very limited sample size for J.P. Ramirez, but hasn't really been able to find success in his limited action so far in 2018. Ramirez, one of the leading hitters on this Bearcats team, as I mentioned before, in his previous at-bat, hitting at .329 on the season, so known much more for his bat. than his pitching ability, but the Bearcats are looking to him in a big game for them, as it's very tough to bounce back from a loss on the first night of this tournament, though we have seen it done before, of course, and the Dolphins, of course, looking to drop their first game played in the entirety of the tournament. Of course, the Bearcats defeated the Beavers of CCNY to send the Beavers home, ending their season earlier tonight.
And the big thing about this game, Joe, as everybody, of course, knows, is that the winner of this game puts themselves in the catbird seat. They'll be in the winner's bracket game, the second game of tomorrow. But the losing team in this game, Joe, has to come back, play the first game tomorrow, win that game, obviously, then win again in the third game tomorrow, and then win twice on Saturday. So the road to a championship after this game just takes such a different turn. And it means so, like, this game is probably the biggest game of them all.
The Dolphins will certainly look to win this one and make their road to a CUNYAC championship a much easier one, as the first pitch of the game from J.P. Ramirez is offered at by Jordan Wilson on the half swing, and that's strike one.
Wilson coming in with great numbers. He leads the Dolphins in hitting percentage-wise at .341 this season.
As he goes after the 0-1 pitch down in the dirt, and he's quickly behind in the count 0-2. We've said it many times before. Oftentimes, all Jordan needs to do is put the ball in play, and he's a threat to reach base safely with an infield hit. As that 0-2 pitch nearly hit him.
Yeah, that one cut way inside on Wilson. Wilson has walked 11 times this season. He's also been hit 3 times. He is right on the lip of that batter's box.
He is standing very close to the plate. That's a good call, Dave. His toes are right on the chalk. That chalk line now much more faded than it was just about 20 minutes ago, as that one skipped to the backstop for ball 2, evening the count at 2.
Yeah, and you realize that Ramirez on those last 2 pitches is trying to back Wilson away, or at least try to flinch him away so that maybe he'll come outside with this next pitch. Let's see what he has to offer here. Baruch went down 1-2-3 in their turn of the first. Dolphins looking to get things started.
Baruch didn't go down in order much in that last game, if they did at all. I'd have to check that, but I'm not sure they went down 1-2-3 once, and they did indeed go down 1-2-3 in one inning.
It was the second inning after that huge first.
Here comes the 2-2 to Wilson, and he takes a big swing and comes up empty, and quickly J.P. Ramirez picks up his first strikeout, following up Christian Capion's 2 punch-outs in the top half of the inning.
Yeah, so a good response here, and Dolphins' first at-bat of the game ends in a strikeout, and it'll be up to DeMarco to give the Dolphins a start. You see his numbers on screen. He has really picked up the pace as well, just off the CSI lead, .338 batting average.
So DeMarco steps into the box with 1 out and the base is empty. And the first pitch from Ramirez misses high for ball 1. Ramirez already set. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. That also misses high. DeMarco now ahead in the count, 2-0. The home plate umpire has been very active outside of calling balls and strikes. Has already sent 2 Dolphins back to the dugout from behind home plate. I believe he had a word for some fans right there, as DeMarco forced to dance out of the way and looks at ball 3.
Well, I think some of the Dolphins perhaps were not using appropriate language or something like that.
Thought I heard something from the crowd, but it very well could have been from the Dolphins' dugout, as that last pitch is in for a called strike. That runs the count to 3-1. And the 3-1 pitch skips in as Ramirez nearly lost his balance on the mound, and DeMarco draws the 1-out walk.
Yeah, nice start here for the Dolphins. They get a base runner on, with DeMarco not having to even swing the bat in that last turn at the plate, and that'll bring up the very heavy-hitting Sean Becker.
Sean Becker, I believe it or not, 2 home runs this year we saw hit by Dolphins, one by Jet Navertney and another by Sean Becker. Becker hit the first of the 2 home runs that I saw here on CSI Sportsnet covering Dolphins baseball. Third baseman Acevedo was in on the grass for a moment as the pickoff attempt is way offline into the bullpen. And rounding second and attempting to take third will be Anthony DeMarco. The throw coming in. DeMarco slides head first, and he is safe over at third base. So Anthony DeMarco advances 2 bases on the errant pickoff, though. That one was not even close. And chasing it into the bullpen was Gerardo Rocky, but not before Anthony DeMarco was able to turn second and get about halfway to third. A strong throw nearly cut DeMarco down, but Anthony was able to slide in safely.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the byproduct of a pitcher who hasn't pitched a lot of innings, is you also got to make them aware of what's going on the base paths as well.
And Dave, the rain has arrived, as it looks like it's coming down heavily out there, or at least is beginning to move in that direction. This is unexpected as we double-check the forecast during Game 1, and the fans are dispersing.
That wasn't supposed to happen, was it?
I'm going to check, but we spoke about it last night, and I took a look at the forecast. It said about a 30% chance of rain around 5 p.m., and we're going to have to close the windows as now wind is picking up as well. Camera in center field beginning to shake, and this seemingly came out of nowhere as now papers are blowing around, and this game may be well on its way to a suspension in the bottom half of this inning if the Dolphins are retired quickly. Maybe sooner than that if CSI prolongs this inning.
Well, it's been so dry and so hot, Joe, that the field itself will take on a little bit of water. Just don't know what this will mean for our broadcast and stuff with equipment, you know, in play. So cross our fingers here. Hope this just passes briefly.
Well, taking a look out toward right field, I see clear skies beyond the wall, but it seems as if the clouds are rolling in that direction, so we don't have a good look really anywhere else in the sky behind us. So if the clouds are indeed moving toward right field, we may be in some trouble. As that's it on the ground over to third, and it gets through Acevedo and into left field. That will bring home Anthony DeMarco with the game's first run, and CSI strikes first, getting on the board in the first inning. They lead 1-0.
Yeah, and that's going to be marked as an E5 as Becker earns on. I don't know if the runner was going on impact. If it was, then it's an RBI. I don't think it was, though. Either way, 1-0, Joe, just like you mentioned. And Baruch, that I believe only had a late error, if I'm not mistaken, in that first game. If they had even one, they were relatively clean the entire way. As we got to change our camera angle, as our camera is seriously shaking out there in center field.
And this weather, incredibly unfortunate, as we had a great turnout, a lot of fans in the seats. Some CCNY players were actually in the stands for a short while as well, and nearly everybody who was seated in the stands that did not have an umbrella immediately made a break for cover. Hopefully they didn't go too far, as that one skipped in, and that allows Sean Becker to take second base. So Ramirez with an errant throw on the pickoff attempt. That one bounced in. Looked like it was blocked nicely behind the plate by Hunt, but good base running by Sean Becker to take second.
Yeah, so CSI, without the benefits of a hit now, already have a run home and a runner at second base. Interesting developments here. And Ramirez is going to have to reach back and get himself out of this jam.
There's the 1-1, and that's rolled over to short. Capion fields. Throw is high.
For sure. Safe. Yeah, absolutely. He was called safe. That took him off the bag. The third Baruch error of the inning. Amazingly sloppy first inning. And now there's runners at first and second, Joe.
And this inning is shaping up a lot like the bottom half of the first, I should say the top half of the first in game number 1. That, of course, was a 6-run inning for the Bearcats. And already in this inning, there are 3 errors up on the scoreboard. And that is correct, actually. I forgot about the pickoff. So that throw into the bullpen on the pickoff attempt, error number 1. The misplayed ball over at third base. Error number 2 on the ball hit by Sean Becker. And now that ball hit by Miolo turns into error number 3 as Frank Muzio is the batter. Muzio takes ball 1. Comes the 1-0 pitch. And that misses down and away for ball 2. Well, just taking a look outside, it looks like the rain has already passed, but umbrellas are still open, so perhaps it just has lightened a bit. Moments ago, the rain was clearly blowing around the field as Muzio grounds one foul.
Yeah, we got a couple of raindrops on our console here as well, Joe. It means that the wind is also driving these dots of rain here, but everything still looks relatively dry.
And hopefully it stays that way as the 1-2 pitch is upcoming and Muzio gets on top of that one and fouls it off.
Well, the camera angle here shows really the wind, and you can see some of the rain mist right around the backstop or against the backstop, but it looks like it's subsided a little bit.
And just going by eye, it looks like the rain has lightened. Here comes the 1-2, and that's in the dirt. Ramirez has really been all over the place in this first inning. Picked up a strikeout of Jordan Wilson to open up his start, but then issued the walk, followed by a pair of errors. The walk issued to Anthony DeMarco, as that's a half swing by Muzio, but the home plate umpire immediately rings him up, and Muzio will go down on strikes.
Yeah, it looks like Muzio tried to hang back on that one, but went across the plate too far. He was called out immediately via the swing. And it will be up to Glenn Glenister here with 2 outs and runners at first and second.
Early in this game, the Dolphins certainly look to be prone to chasing. Perhaps Ramirez has an enticing breaking ball that he's throwing out there, because these Dolphins hitters have gone out of the zone a couple of times in this inning. As that one's off the guard of the catcher Hunt, that will allow both runners to advance 1 base. Taking a short turn over at third was Sean Becker, but he will hold, and moving up to second base right behind him is Nick Miola.
So now a hit pretty much anywhere, as Miola has pretty decent speed over at second base, could score 2 in this scenario.
And of course, the Bearcats will be looking to avoid that. Big opportunity for Glenn Glenister. And he rips one into left field, hit well, ranging to his left, and making a tremendous diving catch is Liam O'Gara for the final out of the inning. What a play by the designated hitter for game number 1. They need to get him out in the field a bit more often, as he made a tremendous diving catch, and that brings the bottom half of the first inning to a close. CSI denied more than just a single run, as Glenn Glenister's tough luck at the plate continues our score after the first inning of play from the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins 1, Bearcats nothing. Top of the second when we come back.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number one goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-One physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
Here at Tim Hortons, we know what mornings are all about. Bacon. Wake up to 6 strips of crispy bacon on a toasted everything bagel. The new Bacon Everything Bagel Sandwich. Great quality at a great value. It's all good at Tim Hortons.
A steady rain has turned to drizzle here at the CSI Baseball Complex, and the bottom half of the first inning comes to a close on a tremendous play in left field by Liam O'Gara, fully extending and making an incredible diving catch to deny Glenn Glenister an extra base hit and a pair of RBIs as well. If that one gets down and gets by O'Gara in left field, no likelihood Glenister winds up at second base, potentially even third base, and of course 2 runs come home to score as both runners were moving on contact with 2 out in the inning. But as it stands, Dolphins lead 1-0 through the first inning, and a pair of errors in the field as well as one committed by the pitcher. J.P. Ramirez put the Bearcats in a very tough position in that first inning, but they were able to get out of it despite not allowing a hit, still surrendered a run. CSI leads 1-0.
And Baruch, who went down in order in the first, now bring up batters 4, 5, and 6 in this inning, led by Roque. Joe, we should mention that we have officially lost our center field camera, which means that the interference caused by the rain is definitely taking its toll.
That's unfortunate. It's a great new angle, and that ball's hit out well to right field down the line and off the wall in foul territory. Well, that's why we have 2 camera angles, and actually utilize that second angle as very often with a runner over at second base taking a lead, he completely obstructs the batter. So I've switched over to that second angle on more than one occasion. Both good shots, but that center field camera definitely gives a unique perspective that we don't often see in college broadcasts. Not many facilities are equipped to position a camera out there beyond the center field wall. As that one gets through Becker. It's called ball 2. The batter at the plate for Baruch College, Gerardo Rocky, in the game earlier against CCNY, officially 1 for 3. Also drew a walk. Scored a pair of runs as well. I should say scored 3 runs. He was 2 for 5, excuse me, with 3 runs driven and 3 runs scored. I was one spot too low in the batting order. 2 balls and 1 strike, the count on Rocky here. And the 2-1 from Capion is swung on and missed.
Yeah, Capion attacking each batter, doesn't want to lose anybody. We saw the low walk numbers that he's had this season in 48 innings. He is very stingy with the free passes. That's why the Dolphins like him so much in these moments.
And the 2-2 pitch is in for a called strike 3. And once again, a Bearcats hitter will go back to the dugout disappointed as Rocky had a word for the home plate umpire. And that will bring up Liam O'Gara, the hero, in the bottom half of the first. Save the Bearcats from allowing at least 2 more runs and potentially more than that should the Dolphins have put together some more base hits in that inning. O'Gara also a presence at the plate as he fouls the first pitch he sees straight back. That last punch out, Christian Capion has now struck out 3 straight. O'Gara had a pair of strikeouts earlier against CCNY. I actually gave you his numbers as opposed to Rocky during the previous at-bat, and here he takes a called strike 2. O'Gara once again will have to battle out of a 2-strike hole. He's been no stranger to 2-strike counts throughout the course of the day. And he hits one high up in the air in foul territory, and Muzio will watch it land in the stands.
Well, that one actually ended outside the ballpark and then came right back in.
On a bounce?
On a bounce, yeah. Probably off the grass.
Well, better the grass than someone's windshield.
Yeah.
As one car out there took some damage during our first game of the day. 0-2 is still the count on O'Gara. And he swings and misses, and Christian Capion has now struck out 4 straight Bearcats, 2 looking and 2 swinging. That's the second out of the inning.
Yeah, the last 4 retired by Capion, all via the strikeout. So he is on his game so far tonight.
Angel Acevedo, the batter. In game 1, Acevedo 2 for 3 with a pair of walks. Game 1, of course, being the earlier game against CCNY.
Yeah, just to reiterate, Baruch a 19-7 winner over CCNY. Very convincing fashion.
Here comes the 1-0. That's it on the ground softly to second. Fielded by Lozada. His throw in time for the final out in the top half of the second inning. Bearcats go down 1-2-3. Dolphins look to add to their 1-run lead. When we come back, our score heading into the bottom half of the second. Dolphins 1, Bearcats nothing here on CUNYAC Championship Weekend.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft. To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Where is it?
Fans beginning to find their way back to their seats as the rain has subsided here at the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins leading the Bearcats by a score of 1-0. Of course, CSI could have done either much more or run less damage in that first inning. J.P. Ramirez very easily could have been out of the first inning 1-2-3, or at least able to work around a walk and retire the next two batters in that first inning, but a pair of errors made in the field, and of course the errant pickoff throw led to the Dolphins scoring one run in that first inning. Liam O'Gara denied CSI more with a tremendous diving catch out in left field, and 7, 8, and 9 will be due up for the Dolphins in their half of the second.
So Dolphins look to get started again after some throwing it around the ballpark in the first inning by Baruch. Only one error in that first game, 3 in the first inning, a very sloppy first.
Well, the first got off to a good start for J.P. Ramirez on the mound. He struck out Jordan Wilson, but then walked Anthony DeMarco and launched a pickoff attempt into the bullpen as Anthony Lozada launches a base hit through the left side. That ball was hit hard and into left field for a leadoff single.
Yeah, so another base runner, second consecutive inning that the Dolphins have managed to get a runner on base, and now it's up to John Pomerico to move it around.
Pomerico, the designated hitter for the Dolphins, and he settled into that role late in the season, punctuated by a game-winning walk-off hit against the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. Anthony Lozada, runner over at first, led off this half inning with a single as the first pitch to Pomerico is hit out to left field. Hit well, but right at Liam O'Gara for the first out.
Yeah, that's the second time that O'Gara had to make a very quick decision out there. That one was hit more directly at him, but a couple paces to his left. But another good line shot for the Dolphins, and now it's up to the number 9 hitter, Jet Navertney, who's really picked up his play the last couple weeks.
He has. Late in the season, his average was steadily climbing. Not the most rapid pace, but certainly picked it up late in the season. Went up about 5 to 10 points per doubleheader, and that will really move your average in the right direction as he takes ball 1. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Navertney, and that missed badly as Ramirez has missed very badly with several pitches already. We saw one wild pitch allow a pair of base runners to advance for the Dolphins back in the first. Here comes the 2-0, and that's hit up in the air foul. That runs the count to 2-1. Back in the first, after Anthony DeMarco walked, he advanced 2 bases on the errant pickoff, and then with Sean Becker and Nick Miola each reaching on an error, they advanced a base on a wild pitch as the 2-1 is fouled back. That put Miola on second and Becker on third for Glenn Glenister, who was denied an extra base hit and 2 RBIs and a great diving catch by Liam O'Gara. Two balls and 2 strikes, the count on Jet Navertney. And that one's down in the dirt. That will run it full.
Dolphins just being extra patient there, wanting to see everything that Ramirez has in his arsenal. And Jet Navertney is a very patient hitter, and if he gets on base, he too, always a threat to score.
Will they send Lozada on the full count offering? They will. And Jet Navertney takes a called strike 3. The throw to second is high, but Lozada will hold up right there. So Jet Navertney gets sent back to the dugout looking at a called strike 3. He didn't like it. Nearly got called for obstruction. He was standing right in the way of the catcher.
Yeah, well, I think he took about a step and a half towards first base, and I think that's what the Baruch bench is arguing right now. Not a steadfast argument, but at least a little bit of a discussion.
I'm not sure he obstructed, but certainly did not make an effort to get out of the way. As like you said, Dave, he was on his way to first base, and that will leave it to Jordan Wilson with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. Anthony Lozada led off this inning with a single. As Wilson hits one hard on the ground to second. McGroarty fields it and then throws out Wilson for the final out of the inning. So the Dolphins get a runner in scoring position, but do not score. CSI's lead still 1 run heading into the third. Our score, Dolphins 1, Bearcats nothing. More CUNYAC Championship baseball when we come back.
Ah, listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun? Whoa, 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 whoa. Can you feel the sun?
Top of the third inning about to get started here at the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins lead Bearcats by a score of 1-0. Baruch yet to register their first hit of this game through the first 2 innings after piling together 18 hits in their first game of the day against CCNY. The Dolphins only with a single base hit, but were able to plate a run in the first inning, largely due to 3 errors committed by the Bearcats, one by the pitcher J.P. Ramirez, and then a pair on the left side of the infield, one over at short and one at third. And 1-0 is where we stand as the third inning gets started. It will be Edwin St. Hilaire leading things off for the Bearcats in their half of the third. So far, Christian Capion has set down all 6 Baruch hitters in order, doing so while amassing 4 strikeouts in the process as the first pitch to St. Hilaire misses out of the zone.
And you wonder with Capion throwing a lot of strikes if Baruch is going to start to be more aggressive at the plate, start chasing after the first pitches in the count.
And that's in for a called strike, evening the count at 1. But Baruch had the luxury of being able to look at a lot of pitches in that first game and getting ahead in the count, so a lot of pitches to hit. Here's the 1-1, and that's hit hard on the ground. Navertney fields it on a hop, and his throw to first in time to retire St. Hilaire for the first out. Nicely done by the Dolphin shortstop, Jet Navertney.
Yeah, and that's something even in a season like this, Joe, that's been really trying for the Dolphins, 14 and 15, is they've always been pretty sound in the field. And, you know, in big games, especially when the weather is good, when the games mean something, they can usually depend on some good fielding. And there's proof positive right there.
So David Capion will be the batter. Capion had 4 base hits in the first game against CCNY on the day. Those 4 hits came in 5 plate appearances, drove in 3 runs, scored 3 runs. Also drew a walk, so he was on base 5 times in the game against CCNY. Behind 0-1 in the count here, and he looks at a ball to even the count at 1. Long look in from Capion. Here's the 1-1. And he had Capion, the batter, lunging at that pitch, and he fouls it off. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Elvis Klein stands on deck for Baruch. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That's chopped toward the middle of the diamond. Lozada on the backhand will take a strong throw, and he got him over at first. No, Muzio ruled off of the base. Frank can't believe it. He asked for the home plate umpire to potentially overrule the umpire on the infield. He does not. It was going to take a strong throw from Anthony Lozada. He made a strong throw, looked to be on target, but Muzio's foot came off the bag.
Yeah, I think it was a great play all around, Joe. I think for Lozada to track that deep in the hole, to make the throw, but probably a better play by Muzio, even though it took him off the bag, to keep that at first base, because had that gotten by Muzio, that would have been an extra base. So a nice job by all the fielders on that play. Gutted out an infield single.
So the Bearcats have their first base hit of the game. 1 hit per side thus far, as Elvis Klein looks at strike 1. Klein had a hit in 5 at-bats during the game against CCNY. Also drew a walk, so 6 at-bats total in the game. 5 official at-bats, scored 2 runs. As the 1 run is rolled over to short, Navertny bobbles for a moment, steps on second for 1, throw on over to first in time for the double play as Navertny bobbled that ball for a moment and then looked to nearly get taken out by the slide. Nicely done by Jett. A pair of good plays in the inning for the Dolphins shortstop, and his throw in time to turn 2, and that will bring the top half of the third to a close. Dolphins still lead 1-0 and come to bat in the bottom of the third when we return.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America and your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex. 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Dolphins in their half of the third inning. And a great play, a pair of great plays by Jordan Wilson in the previous half inning, the second of which brought the inning to a close on the double play. Wilson, or I should say Navertny, excuse me, able to field the ball cleanly, bobbled it for a moment on his way to second base, but was able to stand tall as the slide was incoming and made a strong throw over to first for the final out, doubling up Elvis Climb. And Christian Capion, despite allowing a base hit in that previous half inning, has faced the minimum thus far.
And Wilson, DeMarco is up.
Anthony DeMarco will lead things off for the Dolphins here in the bottom of the third. He takes ball 1. DeMarco walked in the first, then advanced 2 bases on an error committed by J.P. Ramirez, a pickoff attempt. That really got things going for the Dolphins in that first inning, as we mentioned it several times already. Did not record a hit in inning number 1, but scored regardless. As the 1-1 pitches in, or misses I should say, as the umpire was signaling the count. Looked like he called the strike, but the count is 2-1.
DeMarco, of course, represents the Dolphins' run in the game.
And he takes up and away for ball 3, now 1 ball away from drawing his second walk. Both pitchers working very quickly in this game as the 3-1 is on the way, and that finds the outside corner. Not a very emphatic strike call. I almost didn't see it. As that runs the count full. Here's the payoff pitch. And that misses way upstairs for ball 4, so Anthony DeMarco does indeed draw his second walk.
Yeah, so DeMarco once again with a 1 out in the first inning, a 1 out walk, this time a leadoff walk. So on base both times that he's been up, and Sean Becker earned on via an error on a sharp hit ball to third base his first time up. And he'll get his second stab at things.
And Baruch looks to be playing the Dolphins to bunt here, and I would not be surprised if Becker does attempt to lay down a bunt. We've seen just about every hitter in this Dolphins order asked to sacrifice at one point or another this season. Becker not showing bunt, and he takes a called strike. Becker was stranded over at third base in the first, thanks to a great diving catch by Liam O'Gara. As Ramirez will check on DeMarco over at first. Much more deliberate on that pickoff throw. Didn't really snap that throw over there. Comes the 0-1, and now Becker squares and looks at a called strike 2.
Yeah, so now you almost got to take that bunt off no matter what. Becker probably a better hitter when he's not bunting anyway, but I'm sure Mike Morrow's first thought is to get DeMarco over to a scoring position.
Hitters have looked at many called strikes in this game, As the 0-2 pitch is swung on, and did he get a piece? And they're going to say that Becker did get a piece. The home plate umpire appealed to the infield umpire. Donovan Hunt can't believe it. I think he had the best angle of anyone, being the catcher for Baruch.
Well, at first glance, I thought the same thing, Joe, and I did hear a little bit of a thud. I thought maybe it was off the glove of Hunt, but Becker got a piece, so says the plate umpire. So new life here for Becker. Let's see if he does something with it.
He remains in a 2-strike hole, behind in the count 0-2. DeMarco inching his way off of first base, and that one blocked by Hunt. Looks like DeMarco is trying to goad Ramirez into throwing another pickoff attempt toward first base. See perhaps if he can force another mistake on a pickoff. And the 1-2 pitch misses up and away.
CSI as a team is not really a base-stealing team per se. They only have 39 all season in 29 games, so you could do the math there. And DeMarco himself only has 1 in 2 attempts.
2-2 the count. And that misses down and away. And now that ruling on the foul tip off the bat of Becker looming large as the count has been run full. We'll see if they send DeMarco in the same situation they sent Anthony Lozada from first earlier in the game. There goes DeMarco, got a great jump, and they won't even throw to second. DeMarco had a tremendous jump, and Sean Becker goes down looking.
Yeah, so just unfortunate for Becker, Becker, as he thought he had a free pass, but he made a motion as he was going to the bench like he had to jump up to hit that ball. In any event, that is the 4th K for Ramirez so far. But, you know, if the sacrifice was successful, this would have been the scenario, Joe. DeMarco at second and Becker out with 1 out, and the attempt for Miola to score him in. So let's see if the Dolphins can deliver on what they wanted to do.
1 away in the Dolphins' half of the third as Nick Miola looks at a called strike. 8 strikeouts between the 2 starting pitchers, 4 of which have been looking. And we've seen several dissatisfied hitters sent back to the dugout on strikes. Comes the 0-1 to Miola, and that's up and away. DeMarco, the man on second, stands in scoring position for the Dolphins. Likely the man you'd want at the plate to drive him in, and Nick Miola, as that misses high for ball 2. First base is open, but not much relief in the on-deck circle as Frank Muzio waits for his turn.
Yeah, and he too has been swinging the bat better in the recent weeks since the weather has warmed up a little bit.
And Hunt forced to block another one, and he's been busy behind the plate in this game. So far, this game only 2.5 innings plus old.
Seems like Ramirez might be overthrowing a little bit. He's really having a hard time when he's at the end of his release, just staying upright. But he overthrew high on the first one, and that last one was in the dirt.
In the first inning, he almost fell down on a pitch as Miola lines went into shallow center field. It's down for a base hit. Klein scoops it up, and holding at third will be Anthony DeMarco. So it's now runners on the corners for the Dolphins, and Frank Muzio coming to bat.
Yeah, certainly the Dolphins now in business, especially with second base open. Miola a threat to take second and try and draw a throw to get DeMarco home if the Dolphins decide to get fancy here with 1 out. Otherwise, Muzio, who's been swinging a pretty good bat, comes up to the plate. He struck out his first time up, so he's looking to deliver this time up.
I think it's unlikely we'd see a throw from Baruch if Miola does take off, but the left-handed Ramirez potentially could hold him close. Has a nice view of first base, of course, being a left-handed thrower. Doesn't have to take his eyes off the runner until he's ready to deliver his pitch.
It was interesting that Muzio first pitch swinging. Wanted to get a sense of what Miola was looking to do at first base.
Muzio 0 for 1, struck out in the first inning. He's behind 0-1 here. And that's in for a called strike 2. Man on deck, Glenn Glenister nearly drove in 2 back in the first. Was robbed of an extra base hit out in left field by Liam O'Gara.
Yeah, probably the sharpest hit ball of the night so far for either team. Just a tremendous play by O'Gara in left.
Muzio in a 2-strike hole. Here comes the 0-2 pitch, and that's hit sharply on the ground to first. Stepping on first base is Rocky, and DeMarco's hung up between third base and home, and he will retreat back to third base safely as Rocky didn't appear committed to making a throw, just wanted to run DeMarco back to the base. And with first base open, maybe that's the best play. We'll see, as Glenn Glenister is the batter. That does give Baruch 1 base to work with, but on deck behind Glenister is Anthony Lozada, who early in the season was very reliable for the Dolphins at the plate, was hitting over 300, but has seen that average drop down to around 250 entering action tonight.
Yeah, so Glenn Glenister, who's been the MVP of this tournament a couple of years ago, now it rests on him.
Another chance for Glenister to drive in a pair. He looks it down and away for ball 1. You have to think if they fall behind Glenister, they might issue the free pass, though. With Ramirez having control issues, that may not be the safest play as Glenister looks at ball 2.
Now he will get something to hit, most likely, if Ramirez is going to offer.
This pitch will be very telling.
With first base open, not quite sure he'd want to do that.
Comes the 2-0, and
it's low.
Throws Glenister a breaking ball, so I'm not sure he was committed to giving Glenister anything to hit in that spot. And it appears as if he will opt to face Anthony Lozada.
Yeah, first base open, Lozada on deck. It's not the worst choice in the world. No matter how tough Glenister's luck has been, he's always a threat to break open a game with his bat.
Comes the 3-0, and that misses way upstairs for ball 4. So Anthony Lozada, who did single in the second inning, has an opportunity to bat with the bases loaded. And there will be a conference at the mound for Baruch. The entire infield will come over and have a word with J.P. Ramirez.
Yeah, and as for Lozada, you know, this is a good opportunity for him to also be patient, Joe, because, you know, for all the good things that Ramirez has done, he has walked 3 batters, including 2 in this inning, having lost the leadoff DeMarco and now the last batter Glenister. So if you're Lozada and J.P. Ramirez wants to work around the plate, you have a chance here to drive in a run without even swinging the bat. So Lozada has to be smart about his approach here, and J.P. Ramirez, unlike the situation with Glenister, must throw strikes here in this at-bat.
Ramirez has been all over the place in this game thus far. He's already issued 3 walks, has only allowed 2 base hits. Bases loaded with Dolphins, 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd. Here comes the first pitch to Anthony Lozada. And that skips away from Donovan Hunt, but not far enough for DeMarco to try it, and he holds at 3rd.
Yeah, Hunt got just enough of that one, Joe, that he was able to hold DeMarco at 3rd. DeMarco got a very good look at it. And, of course, Mike Morrow, his head coach, is the third base coach, is able to hold him back. But already here, the count 1-0. So Lozada has the count right now in his favor.
J.P. Ramirez is up over 60 pitches already. Here comes the 1-0. And Lozada's in the driver's seat now, ahead in the count 2-0.
Yeah, and he hasn't really been in the strike zone at all. I mean, the first one was, you know, inside and low, and that one's well outside.
As the 2-0 is hit sharply on the ground, off the glove of Ramirez. The glove comes off of his hand, and the Bearcats have no play. It's a 2-out RBI single off the bat of Anthony Lozada, his second hit of the game, and the Dolphins lead 2-0.
Yeah, so DeMarco scores his second run of the game from third base. The bases remain loaded for the Dolphins, and a good piece of hitting there on a 2-0 pitch. Just try to drive one, a line drive. It found the glove of Ramirez, but it died from there, and there was, like you said, Joe, no play for Baruch. Unfortunate play for them in the field, but the Dolphins will take it, and John Pomarico looking to extend the inning.
We've both mentioned how off balance Ramirez can be when delivering his pitches, and looked to be in a pretty good fielding position there, was squared up to the plate at least. As that misses up and away for ball 1, but he was definitely in a position to field that ball. It looked like it hit off the heel of the glove, and it dislodged the glove from his hand. And once that happened, there was no play, as that's fouled straight back by Pomarico, evening the count at 1. Pomarico lined out to left field in his first at-bat. Hit one right at Liam O'Gara. J.P. Ramirez will look to limit the damage, his team trailing by 2 runs. They have not faced a deficit this entire day up until this matchup with the Dolphins. Jumped out to a big lead against the Beavers earlier and never looked back.
And going back to that play by Ramirez with the fielding is, sometimes you're looking to just throw, especially in a 2-0 count, that the last thing you want to do is have to come off that hill and make a play fielding-wise. You're so obsessed with making the right pitch.
Here comes the 2-1, and that's fouled away and into the seats down the right field line.
Oh, and here's someone's car alarm, Joe, so that can never be a good sign when there's a foul ball past the first base line and then you hear a car alarm.
Well, it looks like the ball already found its way back into the hands of someone in the stands. That just may be a baseball being tossed around. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count on Pomarico. And he takes low for ball 3.
And if your Pomarico is good of a hitter as you are, you want to make sure that you do not take a call strike 3. He also lined out to left field his first time up. A sharp, well-hit ball.
Payoff pitch upcoming. The merry-go-round is in motion, and Pomarico takes ball 4. So another walk issued by J.P. Ramirez, and that's been the big issue for him. The Dolphins really haven't hit the ball too hard on more than 1 or 2 occasions, but it's been the walks that have really hurt J.P. Ramirez. Doesn't seem to have command of his pitches, and the Dolphins now lead 3-0.
Yeah, well, that's his 4th walk, his 3rd of the inning, and that's never going to be good, especially when you combine it with a hit in the inning as well.
As that's ripped into center field for a base hit off the bat of Jet Navertny. He launches the first pitch he sees into straightaway center, fielded on a hop by Climb, and holding over at third is Lazada. Glenn Glenister comes home to score the 4th Dolphins run, and CSI now leads 4-0.
Yeah, good piece of hitting. That time, Jet Navertny opting not to be patient. He's going to attack the first pitch. He knows that Ramirez is struggling to throw strikes, understands he might get one to start an at-bat positively, and Navertny recognized it, drove it into the outfield. That's all you got to do, especially as a hitter in the lower part of the order. You just want to get on base, allow the top of the order to get back up, and it's exactly what he was able to do. And the parade continues for the Dolphins now, who have 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd.
CSI is now batted around as Jordan Wilson comes to the plate. Bases remain loaded, and he takes in the dirt for ball 1. And Ramirez was in a tough spot in that last at-bat. He just forced in a run with a walk, and you need to find the strike zone. And Jet Navertny was ready to jump on that first pitch in the zone and lined it right back from where it came.
And if you're a CSI hitter, that's the perfect scenario you want. You want a pitcher who's struggling to find the strike zone, especially early in a count. You know he's going to want to get ahead of you after falling behind to so many in this inning. And Jet Navertny saw the pitch that he wanted right off the bat, and Wilson just saw his first strike. Let's see what Ramirez offers this time.
Count even at 1, and Wilson fouls one away toward that same location where the car alarm was triggered just moments ago.
Yeah, and those of you familiar with CSI know how many classes are offered in that 6:30 hour. The kids are in class until about 9:50 from that 6:30 time slot. So some of them are going to come out not too happy.
Just a message to anyone streaming this game in class: academics first.
Yep, we might be blacked out in some classrooms. I know in my class, Joe, you never streamed the games.
I never did. I was never much of a phone guy in class. I'd get my online updates through notifications. That was about it. I definitely wasn't a web surfer in class.
Right. Well, I've had some students in class that actually had their laptops open that are browsing the web, and they try to be discreet about it, but just a simple PSA from me is your professors always know.
As that skips to the backstop, and Anthony Lozada comes in to score run number 5 for the Dolphins, their 4th run of the inning in the bottom half of the 3rd, and CSI now leads 5-0 as the count also runs full on Jordan Wilson.
Yeah, tremendous job by the Dolphins, who continue to move the runners across. I believe that was Glenister who scored. Was it not?
Glenister scored the previous run.
Oh, right.
Lozada
that's true.
just scored the 5th. All of the other runners move up a base. It's Pomarico to 3rd and Navertney to 2nd.
That is correct indeed, as I was missing Navertney's at-bat on my score sheet.
Here comes the payoff pitch to Jordan Wilson, and that's in for a called strike 3. So Wilson goes down on strikes for the 2nd time, but not before the Dolphins add 4 more runs on 3 base hits in the inning for CSI, but also 3 walks issued by J.P. Ramirez, propelling the Dolphins to a 4-run inning. CSI now leads 5-0, and Dave Pizzuto takes over the play-by-play when we come back for the top half of the 4th here on CSI Sportsnet, exclusively on CSIDolphins.com.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook.
Fire in the hole!
And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tight.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit.
Back to the top of the order here at the CSI Baseball Complex to start inning number 4. Dolphins got themselves a 5-0 lead thanks to 4 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. And Chris Capion has faced the minimum 9 batters. He got the benefits of a double play ball to end the top half of the 3rd. 2-1 is our count. Oh, 1-1 is the count. Capion now delivering to Hunt. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. At one point, Capion had 4 straight strikeouts. Hunt is 0 for 1. He flied out to right field his first time up. Timeout called by Hunt.
The center field camera has returned, Dave.
Yeah, it was on last inning as well. Here's a sharp grounder. Navertney fields. The hard throw to first is in time for Muzio. 1 up, 1 down here in the top half of the 4th inning.
Now batting, the second baseman, number 2, Michael McGroarty.
Michael McGroarty is the batter. He was one of 4 consecutive strikeouts for Capion back in the 1st inning. He struck out swinging. McGroarty, as we mentioned in the first game, came into the afternoon and the evening with a .400 batting average. CUNY All-Star fouls that one straight back. Baruch improved their record to 11-19-1 with their win against CCNY. The 19 runs, the most CCNY allowed all year long. Able to hold back was McGroarty, so he'll see the count even at 1-1. Here's the pitch, and that one is too high in the strike zone, so it'll be 2-1.
It's remarkable that a Baruch lineup, which put together 19 runs and 18 hits earlier today, kept off the scoreboard through 3 innings in this game against the Dolphins. Christian Cappion's been fantastic for the Dolphins on the mound to this point.
And that one's way outside. As soon as he released it, Christian Cappion said, oh, that's my fault. He knew it as soon as it left his hand. So 3-1 as that one skips past Sean Becker. Cappion was the winning pitcher in CSI 7-2 win over Baruch during the regular season. His team gave him a 5-0 lead after 2 innings in that game. And that one's on the outside corner for strike 2, so McGrarty has to dig back into the box. And he'll see a payoff pitch upcoming. In that regular season game, Cappion registered his 4th win. He went the distance all 7 innings. That one misses low, so Cappion loses his first batter of the game via the walk. And McGrarty's on base. J.P. Ramirez, the pitcher, can help his own cause now. He struck out looking his first time up. Mike Morrow approaching the home plate umpire. I think the home plate umpire had a warning for the CSI bench, but Mike Morrow saying that he hasn't said anything to warrant any kind of a warning. And now they discuss. And the gentlemen retreat to their proper places on the field. And not sure what the count is at this point.
It's a new batter.
So there hasn't been a pitch yet to Ramirez. I thought there was a pitch delivered that Mike Morrow was protesting. That's what where I got crossed.
We've seen several unhappy hitters sent back to the dugout in this game, and a lot of called strikes.
So here's the pitch, and that one fouled straight back. Getting back to the regular season performance for Cappion against Baruch, he went 7 innings. He gave up 2 runs. They were both earned on 6 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 5. Faced 30 batters in the 7 innings that he pitched. Check swing, but he went through, did Ramirez, so the count will be 0-2 on him. Pitcher versus pitcher here. McGrarty's at first base. He's held there. Hasn't really feigned the steal. And that one is swung on and hit sharply to third base. DeMarco, chance for 2, gets 1 at second, but that's all they'll get. So the lead runner is scratched. Ramirez will gain first via the fielder's choice, and there's 2 down.
So to this point, Christian Cappion continuing to work straight through these Bearcats hitters. Has only faced 1 above the minimum thus far. He's done a great job limiting a lineup that really had their way with CCNY in Game 1.
So that will bring up Gerardo Rocky. Struck out looking his first time up. Sees that one low and outside for ball 1. Ramirez at first base, not a threat. He does not have any stolen bases this season, only attempted 1. 1-0 to Rocky, and that one's in there for a call strike. One thing that head coach Mike Morrow loves about Christian Cappion, too, is that he does work quickly, does not allow batters to get settled. And as you can see, another timeout called in the batter's box, this time by Rocky. Likes to stay aggressive. His nickname is the Bulldog. He'll attack any situation. That's probably why he's earned that nickname. There's the pitch. Drops in low for a ball. And as aggressive a pitcher as Cappion is, perhaps a lot more when he is up 5-0 on the scoreboard. Scheduled for 9 innings, the Dolphins would love to get a long performance out of Chris Cappion. That one is swung on and through for strike number 2, so the count goes even. And the Dolphins are now a strike away here from retiring Baruch in the 4th.
And Cappion has had these Bearcats hitters off balance throughout this entire game, and he'll look to close 4 scoreless with another strike here.
Looking over the shoulder now, deals just low in the strike zone, and the count will run full. So upcoming will be a 3-2. Ramirez undoubtedly will be in motion here on the pitch. And that one is swung on and lined into right field. Miola has to backtrack, but he got a great jump on it and is able to make the catch rather easily in right field. So Chris Capion yields a walk, but that's it. And at the end of 3.5 innings of play, it's the Dolphins 5 and Baruch College nothing. Stay with us. You're watching CUNY Championship Baseball right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft. To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Give it back!
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Welcome back here to the CSI Baseball Complex. We have a new pitcher on the mound for the Baruch College Bearcats. Number 14, Daniel Malik, comes in for his 8th appearance of the season. He's 1-0 with a 3.55 ERA. He's only pitched 12 2/3 innings this season, so limited work. He's given up 15 hits. He's given up 5 runs. All of them are earned, 2 walks and 14 strikeouts. So what stands out there, opponents batting .294 against him. What stands out there, Joe, is the limited walks that he's had, only 2 in 12 innings. So Malik is a pitcher who exercises good control, has been able to get 14 strikeouts through 12 innings plus, but he replaces Ramirez, who walked 4 in this one, yielded 4 hits, and of course 5 runs.
And the base on balls were certainly an issue for J.P. Ramirez in this game, and they're a big reason why Ramirez is out of this game, at least as a pitcher. As I think we were just told, Ramirez moves over to the designated hitter spot, and that's no surprise as he's one of Baruch College's leading hitters entering action this evening. So it will be Anthony DeMarco leading things off for the Dolphins. Behind him, Sean Becker and Nick Miola.
And DeMarco led off the 3rd inning as well for the Dolphins. He was able to lead off with a walk. He's 0 for 0 in the game, but he's got the 2 walks. He's scored twice. So he's been active. He's played a good third base so far. So Malik, sidearm delivery goes outside and low for ball 1. Unorthodox stance for Malik, and then his delivery is unconventional. Not quite all sidearm, but probably about 3/4. That's full sidearm right there. That's one beats in there for a strike.
We'll see if he can get some of the Dolphins hitters off balance. They didn't have to swing the bat much against J.P. Ramirez, who issued several walks. Malik will look to come in throwing strikes.
That one cuts in there for outside for a ball. 2-1. The loser of this game will play first tomorrow against Finlandia at 12 noon. It would be an elimination game. And that one is cut on and hit sharply towards third base. Fumbling it is Acevedo. The long throw to first, not in time, as it got rocky off the bag as well. We'll see how that gets ruled. I believe that'll be an error all the way, and they've already put it up. E5 on the play. And DeMarco's on for the 3rd time, his 2nd time in a leadoff role. And it will be Sean Becker. Becker is 0 for 2. He reached on an error and was stranded on base in the 1st. He struck out looking begrudgingly in the 3rd.
And after a clean game in the field against CCNY, Baruch has now committed 4 errors in this game, and after an offensive explosion, only 1 base hit as well.
Yeah, they only had the 1 error in the first game, Joe. It was really meaningless towards the end of the game. Didn't cost them at all, and they were very, very good in the field, and they've been sloppy here. And, you know, sometimes, Joe, that's just a product of playing a lot of baseball. I mean, they were on the field for over 3.5 hours, almost 3 hours and 40 minutes against CCNY. And to have to turn right around, you know, after a little bit of a break and get back on the field and be fresh, it's tough to do.
I haven't played baseball competitively in a while, but I can imagine, especially in this weather, though it has cooled down considerably as we've reached the evening hours.
And that one is on the low corner for a strike, so 2-1. Look at a player like Donovan Hunt, who is in the backstop for the whole time as well. 9 innings and working his 13th inning behind the plate. Always tough for a catcher to do that back-to-back. And Malik will look back DeMarco.
And Hunt's been very busy behind the plate in this game. Hopefully Malik can help him work a little less hard out there.
Good lead for DeMarco. That one drops in inside on Becker, so he'll see a 3-1 pitch upcoming. After this at-bat, we'll mention the rest of the tournament that will take place tomorrow. Swung on and fouled off. So the losing team of this game will face Finlandia tomorrow at 12 noon. That will be an elimination game. The 2 winning teams from today, John Jay being 1, and the winner of this game will play at 3 p.m. tomorrow in the winner's bracket final. Here's the 3-2 pitch. That one skips in the dirt. Donovan Hunt does well to block it there. But another free pass issued by the Baruch pitchers, this time to Becker for the first time. And DeMarco will move to second, Becker to first. And Miola, the batter, he's 1 for 2. But continuing the discussion about the tournament, the winner of the losers bracket game tomorrow at 12, obviously that 12 o'clock game, the loser is out of the tournament. The winner would play again at 6 p.m. against the loser of the winner's bracket game. And then, of course, on Saturday is the championship final at 12 noon, and there is a second game at 3 p.m. if necessary. But these first games are so important because the losing team potentially has to win 4 games in the next 2 days to win a championship. The winner of this game, they just need to win 2 more, and they're set.
Certainly a much easier road for the victor here tonight. And Dolphins well on their way to a win, though it is early. Of course, this is a 9-inning game, and that really hammers home the point of how Baruch has already played a full 9-inning game, a game that went a long time in the sun and now forced to play another 9 innings immediately thereafter.
First pitch to Miola, drops in there for a strike. And, yeah, you know, especially you look at a team like Baruch, Joe, that was on the field for 3 hours and 40 minutes for their first game. If they lose this game, they got to get on their vans, go back home, go back to campus, go back home, wake up at the crack of dawn tomorrow, meet up at campus, come take their vans back here, and potentially have to win not 1, but 2 games tomorrow just to get to the championship on Saturday. So you can see just how difficult it is for, you know, a team to come out of the loser's bracket. It's just the chips are stacked against you.
If I'm a player, there's no way I'm heading home. I'm finding somewhere to stay here on Staten Island.
Big cut and a miss by Miola, so the count goes to 1-2. Malik in a big position here. He got the ball here to start the 4th inning after a brief appearance by Ramirez in the starting role. His team down 5 on the scoreboard, and he's got to keep CSI off the scoreboard. That one outside, missing 2-2. We know just from their last game that Baruch is capable of scoring, but they haven't done a lot of it against the Dolphins this season. 2-2 pitch, swung on and hit foul, third base side. That should make the stands, and pops over the stands and out. But in their 14 innings against the Dolphins, Baruch has scored just 5 runs in total. CSI won those games 4-3 and 7-2.
They'll need at least 6 in this game to come away with a victory, of course. Dolphins leading 5-0.
Long look by Malik. He delivers low, and again, Hunt doing well to keep that in front of him. And now we have another full count coming. Dolphins are on base via an error and a walk. The pitch swung on and hit weakly towards first, and getting away was Rocky. Rocky going one way, the ball the other. The Dolphins will come all the way home to score via DeMarco. It's 6-0 Dolphins.
And that's a bad break for the Bearcats over at first base. Rocky initially broke away from the ball and wasn't able to recover in time, and that ball was really hit softly off the bat of Nick Miola, but the Dolphins get the benefit of the bad break by Rocky. Of course, not his fault, as he was moving back into his position. He was holding the runner on over at first base and unable to recover, and the Dolphins, as a result, increased their lead to 6. CSI now ahead of Baruch 6-0, and Frank Muzio has a chance to add some more.
And Anthony DeMarco never hesitated, Joe. As soon as he saw the misplay at first, or the misread at first, he just went directly past third base and in to score. So base hit, RBI for Nick Miola, his second base hit of the game. Dolphins up 6-0 and nobody out still here with runners at first and second. Here comes a 1-0 to Muzio. Well outside for ball 2. Muzio 0 for 2. He struck out swinging back in the first. And then in the third inning, he grounded out to first base unassisted. Again, Malik with a long look at second. The offering, and that one is hit sharply right side. Baruch's got to get there to cover first. They do. So Muzio out 4-3, but runners shift over to second and third. And now Glenn Glenister, his third time at the plate, Joe, with runners at second and third.
And yet another opportunity for Glenister to drive in a pair. As you just mentioned, his third at bat with runners at second and third. You don't see that too often, especially with this game only being in the bottom half of the fourth inning. But that's the situation with Glenister at the plate once again. Dolphins already leading by 6, and a base hit here really breaks this game wide open.
Glenister hit one sharply to left field for an out his first time up. He walked his second time up, and that takes one upstairs for a ball 1 as Malik again continuing to start batters off 1-0.
He was brought on to throw strikes, has done the exact opposite. Running counts full, issuing a walk.
And that one's well outside. And they say Glenn Glenister swung. Wow. At a pitch about 2 feet out of the strike zone. I thought Glenister had held up. Instead, 1-1 is our count. Not much protest from the CSI bench. Probably saw something I did not. Malik with a 1-1 pitch. Infield is in for Baruch. And that one is swung weakly towards third base. Well foul. As for CSI Sportsnet, we will be back on the air tomorrow. Dueling channels. We'll have one crew at softball. We'll have another crew here at baseball. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, and Glenister has to duck down underneath that pitch that Malik loses. 2-2.
Well, Malik's all over the place. It's coming out of the bullpen for Baruch, and that's prompted action down in the Bearcats bullpen.
Yeah, and if you're a CSI hitter, you don't know where it's going next, especially with that sidearm delivery. Here's the pitch. That one is swung on and hit sharply to short, and it gets past Capion. 1 run will score easily. Dolphins waving another home halfway, but having to retreat back. And there's going to be a play at second, and Glenister is out.
Well, I was anticipating a play at the plate. I had the shot ready. Putting on the brakes over at third was the runner Miola. And then Glenister, right at the top of the frame, was thrown out at second just behind the pitcher Malik. And that's a big second half for the Bearcats. Is now with a runner on third. A fly ball will not add to the Dolphins' lead, though. That lead already stands at 7 runs. CSI leads 7-0.
Yeah, so Glenister will get a base hit and an RBI, but gunned down at second base. That was a good call. He was definitely out at second. Did not beat the throw. And there is one that skied into right field, giving chase and making the catch is St. Hilaire. But the Dolphins do damage in the fourth inning like they did in the third. This time they add 2 more. And at the end of 4 complete innings, the Dolphins in complete control. They lead Baruch 7-0. Stay with us. You're watching CSI Baseball and CUNY Championship Baseball right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
You make me wear my bike helmet. taught me never to run with scissors.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt. And to follow the swimming rules. You're always looking out for me and trying to keep me safe.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer? Here in the garage.
Closet? Shoe box under the bed. Where anyone can get to it. How safe is that?
How safe is that?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. If you own a firearm and are not using it, please be responsible and be sure that it's stored in a safe place. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org.
Here at Tim Hortons, we know what mornings are all about. Bacon. Wake up to 6 strips of crispy bacon on a toasted everything bagel. The new Bacon Everything Bagel Sandwich. Great quality at a great value. It's all good at Tim Hortons.
Welcome back to the CSI Baseball Complex. The Dolphins up by a touchdown and a point after. They're up 7-0 here going into the top of the 5th inning. And a looming deficit for Baruch, especially given how Christian Capion is pitching. He's faced just one batter over the minimum through the first 4 innings. And he will face 5, 6, and 7 here in the top half of the 5th inning. He works quickly, Joe. He moves quickly, and he's been getting outs quickly here for the Dolphins.
He has been a great effort from Christian Capion on the mound thus far against a team that came out earlier today against CCNY and put runs up on the scoreboard quickly and in bunches, scoring 6 in the first and then adding to that time and time again.
And certainly what helps is first pitch strikes, and he delivers one to O'Gara to start this at-bat. Here's pitch number 2. That one drops down low for a ball. Capion through the first 4 innings, 53 pitches. He allowed just 1 hit, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. And that one trails inside for ball 2. O'Gara struck out his first time up. He was the last of 4 consecutive strikeouts for Capion to bridge the first and second innings. And that one is smoked into center field. Wilson has to trot back, now pauses and makes the catch.
That one hit well by O'Gara, but Wilson right there. And the Dolphins have played the ball very well in the outfield. We've seen some precarious plays by some of the Beavers and Bearcats so far today, but the Dolphins have handled the outfield and navigated it very well.
So Acevedo, the batter, he grounded to second his first time up. That ended the second inning for Baruch. Looking to give the Bearcats a start here, and he lines one, a shot to third base, but Anthony DeMarco flashing the glove and making the play.
Great play by DeMarco. Unfortunately, I didn't see it because I was looking at the monitor. The camera looks like it's back from center field, so we're riding with the center field camera for now, but good thing I had the wide shot and everyone was able to see the play by DeMarco. I hadn't even switched it yet.
That's the beauty of CSI Sportsnet. 3 cameras to bring you coverage, and working hard to get more and more for you folks at home. There probably aren't a lot of people watching live because most people are here at the ballpark, and it's really, really great to see.
Fortunately, the rain was short-lived. It drove a lot of the fans in the seats looking for cover, but it seems like most of them have returned.
And I'm sure most people who are watching us from the comforts of their home, as that one is line shot into left center field. Wilson has to race back, does make the play, but the throw to second is not going to be in time, almost thrown away. But in with a sliding double is Edwin St. Hilaire. It's only Baruch's second hit of the game, and it was a shot to left center.
That's easily the best contact that the Bearcats have made in this game thus far. As I think you smell what I do, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's definitely just lit up a cigarette close to us, breathing that in. Not used to that anymore, especially on college campuses, Joe. You just not used to it. It's not a smell you're used to, so had to poke my head out and give someone the business, but I don't see anybody.
That rule came into effect, I believe, when I was a sophomore here at the College of Staten Island, and at first wasn't really a rule that was adhered to much. That's since changed.
I think it's becoming a moot rule because by now, if you don't know the dangers, you've missed you've missed a lot of education on the subject.
Definitely a good number of PSAs for sure.
So Capion's the batter. He has Baruch's only other hit in the game. It was an infield hit to second base. And that one is smoked into right field. Playing it on one hop is Miola. Baruch will wave one runner home. Dolphins cut the throw off, but Baruch is officially on the scoreboard. It's now 7-1 via the RBI base hit from David Capion.
And what a big day for David Capion. Several hits in game one. The number, I believe, was 4, was on base 5 times. Now 2 base hits here against the Dolphins in the nightcap, and he puts his team up on the scoreboard. Baruch now trailing 7-1.
And how about the bottom of the order for Baruch? The 7, 8, 9 hitters are now 3 for 5 with 2 singles, a double, an RBI, and a run scored. Elvis Klein grounded out into a double play. He's the 9th hitter on the team. And he puts down a bunt. It's a beauty. Capion really doesn't have much of a play. It's going to be a safe on the bunt. That was a gorgeous bunt by Elvis Klein. And Baruch starting to piece together some offense.
And I can't believe Capion threw that ball. Only trouble could have come from that throw. No chance to get Klein over at first base, and that throw nearly sailed over the head of Frank Muzio. Did a nice job to bring it down and keep it in play, and that will bring up the dangerous Donovan Hunt, top of the order for the Bearcats with 2 men on and 2 outs.
Yeah, it's a top of the order that hasn't done much here in this game, but 2 out have been registered. The Dolphins have seen their lead cut to 6 now, 7-1, and I'm sure head coach Mike Morrow telling his pupils, hey, not to worry. Not all is lost. Let's think about the batter here. With 2 out, the focus should be on Donovan Hunt, and he's 0 for 2. He flied out to right field his first time up and then grounded to short. A sharp grounder to short his last time up. But he has gotten some good swings. Just like to find some real estate here with this one against Chris Capion, who was motoring along here up until this 5th. Quick check back at second, and now the swing and a miss. It gets away from Becker. I don't believe any contact was made, so the runners will advance to second and third. So I believe that will go down as a pass ball on Sean Becker. And now a base hit can make this a 4-run game.
And this at-bat just became huge. Already a big at-bat as the Bearcats look to prolong this half inning, but now a base hit could score 2 and bring Baruch College to within 4, and we'll have a game again should Donovan Hunt come through in this big spot.
Here's the pitch from Capion. That's driven right back to him. He's able to strike it down, pick it up, make the throw to get out of the inning. Scary little exchange there. But Capion out of the 5th, but not before Baruch gets on the scoreboard. A run on 3 hits, and it's now a 7-1 game. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th after this. Stay tuned. You're watching CSI Baseball right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
No one ever won a race because it was their turn. And guzzling the right sports drink never won all 3 sets. You can't talk your way through a tournament, and luck doesn't last. Real champions know that it takes more to do more, because wanting it just isn't good enough. You've got to be smarter, faster, tougher. After all, if championships were easy, everybody would have one. City University of New York Athletic Conference. Learn, play, succeed.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number one goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-One physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
Welcome back to the CSI Baseball Complex. We have some changes in the field for Baruch, number 6. Nicholas Valeriano, who ended the game at third base for Baruch in game 1, is back at third base for this game here, replacing Angel Acevedo. And we have a new pitcher in the game. It'll be Matthew Lawler. Lawler is 1-2 this season with a 5.30 ERA. This is his 9th appearance of the season, his 7th in relief. 18 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 24 hits, 16 runs, 11 of them earned, 3 walks, 17 strikeouts. So we were talking in the break, Joe, about how, Baruch, win or lose, have a lot of baseball to play over the next couple of days, and obviously their pitching staff is going to be thinned out here. So they're giving everybody just a little bit of work, anticipating that there's going to be a lot more to do in the coming days.
And it will certainly play to the advantage of the Dolphins should they see the Bearcats again later in this CUNYAC postseason tournament. But the Dolphins have to love what they've gotten from Christian Capion. We mentioned that CSI will have the ability to preserve some pitching depth if they could jump out to a lead in this game, and they've done just that. It's a 6-run lead for CSI heading into the bottom half of the 5th, and John Pomarico steps into the box to lead things off.
Yeah, John is 0 for 1 here. He lined out to left his first time up, walked with an RBI. His last time up, a bases-loaded walk. As we have a brief pause here as something going on with the Baruch bench. Now they get things sorted out, and we're ready to go. Matthew Lawler getting set for his first pitch. He replaced Malik, who went 1 inning. Get you some lines in just a moment.
Actually have that right in front of me, Dave.
Go ahead,
Malik threw an inning, allowed 2 runs one of those 2 runs earned a pair of base hits, a walk, faced 6 batters and threw 27 pitches.
And he replaced Ramirez, who had 78 pitches and gave up the 4 earned runs, 5 in total. Swing and a miss from Pomarico, runs the count to 2-1. Ramirez went 3 full innings. He walked 4, struck out 5. Chris Capion, the only pitcher for the Dolphins so far, well high for ball 3. So now a 3-1 pitch upcoming to John Pomarico. Pomarico this season started red hot. He comes into today batting .242. 7 doubles. And he takes for strike 2. He's walked only 7 times this season. He struck out 20 times. That's tied for the team lead. Big spot here, 3-2. And that's too high for ball 4. So Pomarico, for the 8th time this season, takes a walk. Actually, for the 9th time, because he walked earlier in the game. Second straight at bat with a walk for him. And Jet Navertney, who in his last at bat jumped on the very first pitch and drove one into the middle of the outfield. An RBI as well to go with it. He's 1 for 2. Struck out looking his first time up. Obviously his first pass at Lawler. Pomarico not a threat to steal at first. Here's the pitch. Navertney showed bunt, took it off, and took high for ball 1.
And issuing the leadoff walk, certainly not the way that Lawler wanted to get things started, as his 2 predecessors, Malik and Ramirez, had trouble finding the strike zone, and more of the same from Lawler opening up this inning.
And he takes that one high in the strike zone for strike number 1. Again, Navertney took the bunt off at the last second. Just goes to show how important each run is for head coach Mike Morrow and his unit, wanting to get runners in scoring position. Navertney does have 2 sacrifices this season. Aims up to bunt, puts one right in front. It did hit Navertney. He's out on the play. And the runner has to go back to first. So interference, batter's interference, will register an out. And Pomarico has to retreat.
Bad break for the Dolphins there, as it looked to be a good bunt. Of course, that may have been affected by the ball contacting Jet Navertney. Either way, it is the first out in the bottom half of the 5th. And Jordan Wilson will look to reach base for the first time in this game. He's already struck out twice.
I believe head coach T.J. Tibbs has taken over the public address announcing.
I knew it sounded like a different voice coming from down the hall.
Jordan Wilson will be the batter. He's 0 for 3, and he has struck out twice. He'd like to get into the hit parade here for the Dolphins. He's also grounded out to second. 1 out. The runner at first is Pomarico. And there's a take inside for strike 1.
TJ Tibbs, a popular guy here. I was actually doing the scoreboard for one of our recent softball broadcasts. Mike brought TJ over for a brief interview. Our view count doubled in the 20 minutes that TJ was on with Mike.
Well, TJ, of course, did a women's basketball game with us on Sportsnet and was a natural on the mic, as he is with a lot of other things. And Jordan Wilson puts one right on the glove, and the play is made from Lawler over to Rocky. A good heads-up play by the pitcher, Lawler, to register the second out. But Pomarico does advance, obviously, to second base, and it gives DeMarco another turn at bat. He's been on base all 3 times.
Number 39, Anthony DeMarco.
Anthony DeMarco is indeed the batter, Dave.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So DeMarco takes outside for ball 1 to start things off. DeMarco has been on base all 3 times today, 2 times via a walk. He earned on via an error to start the 4th. And he scored all 3 times he's been up. Takes strike 1, high, didn't like the call. John Jay awaits the winner of this game in the winner's bracket of this tournament. They will play at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Finlandia will get the losing side at 12 noon for an elimination game. There were 3 elimination games today, part of single elimination play. Tomorrow's game 1 is the first double elimination. And that one is swung on and hit sharply into right field, having to retreat, looking to make the play, but going over the head of St. Hilaire. Easily scoring from second is Pomarico, and it will be a stand-up double for Anthony DeMarco, on base all 4 times, an RBI, and the Dolphins that get the run back. It's 8-1.
And it shouldn't be overlooked how well the Dolphins have navigated the outfield here today. As just about every ball well struck into the outfield has initiated a bad break by one of the outfielders, either on the side of the Bearcats or the Beavers. We saw it earlier in game number 1 on the day. And I'll wait for Sean Becker to be announced into the game to continue. But right there, St. Hilaire initially broke in, and the ball went over his head once again. It's a double for DeMarco, extending the Dolphins' lead right back to 7.
And so it is Becker. Skips in on Hunt. He does well to keep it in front. 1-0 is the count. Getting ready here to deliver is Lawler. That one's well high and outside. Two and 0 is our count here on Becker. He should get something good to hit here, and not the case, as that one skips outside on Hunt, so the count will go to 3-0. On deck is Miola. He's got 2 base hits in this game, an RBI and a run scored, so no relief here for Lawler if he loses Becker. Here's the delivery, and that's too high. So on 4 pitches, Sean Becker will take first base, and now there are runners at first and second, 2 out, and Nick Miola, who is 2 for 3 on the evening, steps into the batter's box.
And you mentioned it before, Dave. Baruch, of course, will have to play first tomorrow. Should they lose this game, at what point do they let this game go and say, we need to save some arms for tomorrow, really start resting some of our key players who have been out here, some of them now, for 14 innings, though. I think most of the starters did get a rest late in game number 1.
Yeah, they did. A lot of shuffling around. And Baruch really only used the one big arm, obviously, in Sierakowski, well over 120 pitches. And that one misses for a ball. 1-1. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, and that one again skips in on Hunt. He's able to keep it in front of him. That's the 3rd time in this inning as he's had to keep a ball in front of him that was thrown errant. And even though it's been 4 days since their last game. You know, Baruch has been busy. Well, they played a doubleheader against John Jay on Saturday. That was their last one. They did have a couple of postponements in there. So everybody well rested coming into this weekend, but like you mentioned, a lot more baseball to be played. That one drops in for a strike on Miola. He wanted to see one. It's now 2-2. Miola's been on base 3 times. The first time was via an error. The last 2 times, base hits. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and that swung on and hit in the hole on the left side of the infield. Getting waved home, and no play to be made there as the throw was unaligned, as DeMarco will come in to score for the 4th time today. Miola at first, Becker at second, and the Dolphins are now up 9-1.
And the Dolphins continue to pile it on, much like we saw Baruch do in game number 1. The Beavers scored, as Frank Muzio was the batter, much like the Bearcats did in game number 1. CCNY would get up on the scoreboard, score a run or 2, but Baruch always had an answer, and here with the Bearcats finally getting on the scoreboard against CSI, the Dolphins have had an answer and have doubled what the Bearcats did in the top half, scoring 2 runs of their own in the bottom half of the 5th inning.
Muzio 0 for 3 on the evening, and big chance for him as well as he sees that one hit the inside corner for a strike. Muzio struck out and grounded out twice, once to first, once to second. And the right side of the infield cheating towards first base. That one is handcuffed foul down the third base line. So Muzio in the hole quickly, 0-2. Muzio with 21 strikeouts this season leads the team in that department. Becker at second, Miola at first. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed for strike number 3 and out number 3, but the Dolphins get the run that they squandered in the top half of the 5th back, add another, and now are up by 8 after 5. The score, the Dolphins 9, the Bearcats 1 after 5 innings of play.
No one ever won a race because it was their turn. And guzzling the right sports drink never won all 3 sets. You can't talk your way through a tournament, and luck doesn't last. Real champions know that it takes more to do more, because wanting it just isn't good enough. You've got to be smarter, faster, tougher. After all, if championships were easy, everybody would have one. City University of New York Athletic Conference. Learn, play, succeed.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number 1 goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-One physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
Welcome back to the CSI Baseball Complex here as we get set for inning number 6, and Chris Capion, as expected, taking the hill again for the Dolphins. He's been good here in this one. He's yielded 4 hits, 1 earned run. But the Dolphins have done a good job on their turns at the plate. They've given him a 9-1 lead, and for a pitcher like Christian Capion, he can continue to stay aggressive at the plate. He will face the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the lineup. First pitch to McGroarty is skied into right field. Miola has to get on his horse to chase this one in. Gets a great read on it, makes the play. We've been saying it all night, Joe.
It's been quick outs for Christian Capion and a solid right field play by Nick Miola. He always seems to make the right break on the ball and has played a stellar right field for the Dolphins all year. Has made some sliding grabs as well in other games we've covered. And the defense behind Capion has been very good as well for the Dolphins in this game, and that's been a big part of him moving through the Bearcats lineup so quickly.
So J.P. Ramirez, of course, has stayed in the game after pitching. He smokes one into center field. That will drop in there for a base hit. Wilson makes the play, throws it into second base. But first hit from the top of the order in this game for Baruch, their first 3 hitters. And a bit of a start here for the Bearcats in the 6th. Gerardo Rocky comes in. He's 0 for 2. He struck out looking, and he flied out to right field. And that one is hit. First pitch swinging is Rocky. Miola going back, settles in, catches it over the shoulder for out number 2. So Miola busy here. Couple of putouts registered.
Is that 3 pitches or 4 for Capion so far in this inning? Quick first out, single, and then another fly out to right field. That might be 3 pitches.
Yeah, and again, it could be just Baruch.
It is
saying to stay aggressive. And it will be Liam O'Gara, who's also 0 for 2. He struck out swinging and flied out to center. A really good hit his last time up to straightaway center field. Forced Wilson way back in the hole. Ramirez to work with at first base. There's the pitch. Trails 2 inside for a ball. John Jay was an 11-7 winner over Finlandia earlier today. So they've punched their ticket into the winner's bracket play. Another pitch inside goes to 2-1. Finlandia will be a part of loser's bracket play here at the CSI Baseball Complex tomorrow. Dolphins hoping to avoid that game. They're in good shape. They're up 9-1 here in the top of the 6th. Capion with a long look. Delivers in there for a call strike. Joe will be here tomorrow along with Bobby Drake bringing you all the action. I'll pop in from time to time as well. At baseball, Mike Babuski will be going solo at softball. All 4 games tomorrow on CSI Sportsnet over at the softball field. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and Chris Capion out of the top half of the 6th inning. So only 4 batters get to approach for the Bearcats in the top of the 6th. We are through 5.5 innings of play. CSI Dolphins lead 9-1 over Baruch College. Stay with us. You're watching CSI Baseball and CUNYAC Championship Baseball right here on CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Mom.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
Welcome back to the CSI Baseball Complex. We have another new pitcher for Baruch College. As soon as we get his number, we'll give it to you folks. We're waiting for him to turn around. 15, it's at first base. We have a new first baseman. It will be number 15, Raymond Marr. As the pitcher continues to be number 16, Matthew Lawler. I was wrong about that. Glenn Glenister, 6, 7, and 8 due up here for the Dolphins in the bottom of the 6th. Glenister got his first hit in his last at-bat. He is 1 for 2 officially here. He also walked in the game, has scored a run, has an RBI. Here's the pitch from Lawler, and that's low and outside for a ball, so 1-0 the count. And that one is cut on, and a sharp line drive into right field. That will go all the way to the warning track on a line. Glenister stops at second base with a stand-up double. Nice job. Good piece of hitting by Glenn Glenister.
And he swung the bat very well in this game. A shot out to left field in the first. We spoke about how that ended several times with a diving catch by Liam O'Gara, but he hit the ball very well in the first inning, then walked in his second at bat before hitting a single well and driving in, I believe, a run on that single. And then that double right there was well struck, and it found the warning track in the right field corner. So maybe Glenn is turning it around. He was beginning to pick up that batting average late in the season, and that has continued here into the first game the Dolphins are playing in the CUNYAC tournament.
Yeah, Glenister was hovering at just about 200, a little bit under 200 all year long. He's lifted that batting average up to 228. He started every game for the Dolphins. And up bat now is Lozada. 1-0 count. Sees that one on the inside corner for a strike. Lozada started the day out 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. He flied out to right his last time up. He does have an RBI and a run scored as well. The pitch from Lawler swung on and missed as late was Lozada with that one. It's now 1-2. Swung on and missed strike 3. Dropping the ball was Hunt, but he's able to apply the tag on Lozada. And so the first out registered here by Lawler via the strikeout.
And that will bring up John Pomarico as Lozada was just denied a chance at his third hit in the game. Pomarico has also reached twice, but both times Pomarico was on base, it was via the base on balls.
Yeah, Pomarico with only 7 walks coming into this game. He's got 2 already in this one. 0 for 1 officially, but he does have an RBI and a run scored as well. Glenister standing at second base after the leadoff double. That one outside for a ball. Lawler, the third pitcher used by Baruch in this game, and he delivers that one on the low corner for a strike, so the count goes to 1-2 on Pomarico. His job is simple: throw strikes, get Baruch in and out of innings. Both of these teams will be back in action tomorrow. Lawler steps off and sees Glenister back to second. Another look in. There's the delivery, and that's a chopper over to third base, and looking to backhand it was Valeriano instead of getting in front of it. Glenister is going to go in home unimpeded, and it's going to be a 10-1 CSI lead on what I believe will be the 5th error of the game for Baruch. Indeed it is. So an E5 and a run scores for Glenister the second time he's been plated today. Jet Navertney will be the batter now with Pomarico at first base.
And as bad of a game as it was for the Beavers in the field earlier this afternoon against Baruch, the Bearcats had an even rougher time of it in the field against the Dolphins here in the nightcap. They now trail 10-1, have committed 5 errors, and have really struggled at the plate as well.
And there's a sharp grounder to short, playing it for 1 and maybe 2. Yes, they do. They complete the double play, and the Dolphins are retired here in the bottom half of the 6th, but not before they scratch across another run. And at the end of 6 complete innings, 10-1 Dolphins over Baruch. Joe Foreman will take over the lead in innings 7, 8, 9 right here from the CSI Baseball Complex. It's the Dolphins 10-1 over Baruch. Stay with us.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun?
Here at Tim Hortons, we know what mornings are all about. Bacon. Wake up to 6 strips of crispy bacon on a toasted everything bagel. The new Bacon Everything Bagel Sandwich. Great quality at a great value. It's all.
And we are back from the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins leading Baruch by a score of 10-1 as CSI looks to win their first game of this year's CUNYAC Championship. They appear well on their way to doing so with a 9-run lead entering the 7th inning. As we have Nicholas Valeriano getting his first at-bat of the game. He came on in place of Angel Acevedo. I believe that was an inning or two ago in the field, maybe even the last half inning.
Yeah, well, he definitely had the error in that last inning as he had come into the game shortly before the inning before, I believe he had come in. Really, this has all been about Chris Capion just working quickly for CSI.
He's done a great job on the mound, and should he go the distance in this game, which it appears he very well might, he puts CSI in a great position moving forward in this CUNYAC tournament, leaving every other arm on this team available for CSI to play things however they choose to moving forward in terms of pitching.
And really, it's been the bottom of the order that's done all the damage for Baruch. That bottom of the order right now is 4 of 6 in the game.
And that one's line foul, evening the count at 2. Mentioned during game 1, not many plate appearances for Valeriano this season. Entered the day with only 3 at-bats. 1 base hit in those 3 at-bats. Has gotten a couple of looks at the plate here today. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. That's the line foul. At this point in the game, we'll take a look at Christian Capion's pitch count. Seems like he's been able to keep it down. A lot of quick outs, and he's at 75 pitches working in the 7th inning, so he is on track to complete this game if the Dolphins want to push him up over 100, and that misses outside for ball 3. Running the count full certainly won't help that cause, something that Capion hasn't done often today. Has issued only a single walk, and that's lined right back into his glove. The second time Capion's had a ball hit right at him, and this time he snags it out of the air for the first out.
Yeah, nice job and good concentration there by Chris Capion. He's always favoring his left when he comes off the mound, so he was going in that direction anyway. And just long arms, was able to get the stab on it. Great job.
Edwin St. Hilaire will be the batter. St. Hilaire 1 for 2 in this game. Has the only extra base hit for the Bearcats thus far. And that's swung on and missed. A slow breaking ball from Capion.
Yeah, St. Hilaire grounded to short his first time up, but like you mentioned, hit that sharp double to left center his last time up.
Looks like that might have been a quick pitch from Capion, and it misses outside for ball 1.
St. Hilaire also scored in the 5th inning. He is Baruch's only run.
And on deck has the only RBI for the Bearcats. That's David Capion. As that's hit well out to left field. Initially breaking in was Glenister. It's over his head. Not sure he had a chance anyway. And into second base standing is Edwin St. Hilaire with his second double of the game.
Yeah, so both times towards left field. That was a rocket that came right off the bat in a hurry. And again, Joe, this is the 5th hit from the bottom of the order, as David Capion has 2 himself today as well. He's 2 for 2 coming up to this at-bat.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say make the 7, 8, and 9 spots now 5 for 7 in this game. David Capion's had a tremendous day at the plate. 4 hits in game 1, reached 5 times, also drew a walk in that game, and now here in game 2, a pair of base hits, and he fouls the first pitch he sees straight back. As I mentioned, Capion drove in the only run of the game for Baruch. He scored Edwin St. Hilaire from second base on a 5th inning single. 0-1 the count on Capion, facing Christian Capion, the Dolphins pitcher, and Davik takes a called strike 2.
Yeah, another breaking pitch that time from Capion. That one hit the inside corner. And with St. Hilaire at second base, now Capion way ahead, 0-2 on Capion.
Said it time and time again, Christian Capion likes that front door breaking ball to the right-handed hitters. Not afraid to throw it. Pitch starts inside and then breaks over the inside corner as the 0-2 pitch misses away.
Yeah, and that time he wanted Capion to chase outside the strike zone after jamming him inside.
Christian Capion does a good job changing where in the strike zone hitters can focus. He works both the inside and outer halves of the plate very well, and that misses away. That evens the count at 2. Capion, no stranger to the later innings, has pitched deep into games on more than one occasion this season. You mentioned one such outing earlier this year where he went the distance. I believe that was against Baruch, as you said.
It was the 7-2 win that he had here.
I think I covered that game with Bobby Drake as that skied out to center field. Coming in is Jordan Wilson. He settles underneath it and makes the catch for out number 2.
Yeah, Dolphins outfield has played very well here tonight. Very accustomed to playing on this field under these lights. And they're showing that here.
It will be Elvis Climb coming to the plate. Looking to drive in the Bearcats' second run. 2 away here in the top of the 7th. Long way to go for the Bearcats to get back in this game as Climb takes a big swing and may have gotten a piece. I think he may have contacted Becker on the backswing possibly. Becker roaming out of the catcher's box, but we'll come back. He appears okay. Not sure he was contacted anyway as Climb is standing well off to the side and the home plate umpire looks to be giving someone some time as he dusts off home plate with his foot. Definitely was buying time for someone there as he handed Capion a new baseball and then dusted off home plate. Took his time doing so. Looked like he was doing a favor to either hitter or catcher. Here comes the 0-1 pitch, and that misses down and away. Count evens at 1.
I want to say hi once again to Jennifer, who's tuning in, has been with us for a little while here, Joe.
That's dedication, and we certainly appreciate it, as Game 1 was a very long affair, 3 hours and 40 minutes, as you mentioned before, and the Dolphins not even involved in that game as that's fouled toward the Bearcats' dugout. Looked like it narrowly avoided some coaches there seated at the top of the steps.
They didn't even flinch. But yeah, our viewers and those who have caught our streams throughout the year have been very loyal to us, Joe. They've always had some real positive things to say to us. We really appreciate it. It's the reason why we do it. And it's always a pleasure. 18 innings of baseball, it's tough. It's not the easiest for us, Joe, especially in between games when, there's so many things going on and there's graphics to be done. There's lineups to be exchanged that we don't readily have access to. But the entire crew has done a great job of really making these broadcasts so good and so enjoyable for people like us.
I think you said it, Dave. We both enjoy doing this a great deal, but really the only difficult aspect of today's broadcast, and of course the first game did go on for a while, but having no one here to do the graphics when we call the game is always our biggest challenge. It's not easy to say anything intelligent or productive when you're focused on assembling a graphic, but I think we've handled ourselves pretty well.
Yeah, without question. And we should say, too, that joining you tomorrow will be Bobby Drake, and Bobby has done a great job this semester. He's our sports information intern. He was obviously a former baseball player with us, and he enjoys calling the games. And, really his duty as our intern is to do the engineering part, but he loves doing the play-by-play in color so much that he's elected to come on board and lend some voice as well. Is something that he really enjoys doing.
And that's hit slowly on the ground over to first, and Muzio will step on the bag, takes it himself, and that is the final out in the top of the 7th. Dolphins maintain a 9-run lead, our score through 6.5. Dolphins 10, Bearcats 1. CSI comes to bat in their half of the 7th when we come back.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft. To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
10-1 our score here at the CSI Baseball Complex as the bottom half of the 7th inning is about to get
Don't
underway.
worry,
Dolphins
74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
As we have yet another new pitcher to
fight
try and slow down this Dolphins lineup. Let's put 10 runs up on the scoreboard. I'm not sure we got a number yet, but it certainly is a new pitcher, and the number is 37. So I'll take a look at my roster in just a moment and get some numbers for you on the new pitcher for Baruch College, and I don't see a 37, so perhaps I got that number wrong.
It's 37, all right.
That's what I thought, but had to question myself, as I'm sure we'll get some clarity in a short while. I don't hear any announcement.
I do have a 37, Joe. It is Isaac Trejo. Isaac Trejo is 0-1 with a 9.28 ERA. This is his 7th appearance, his 6th in relief, 10 2/3 innings pitched, 18 hits, 14 runs, 11 of them earned, 6 walks, 7 strikeouts. Opponents are batting .383 against him.
Well, the reason I didn't have a 37 is that I was looking at the batting number, so that'll do it. It's been a long night.
He hasn't batted, so he won't be there.
He was not, I can confirm. Jordan Wilson will lead things off for the Dolphins in the bottom of the 7th. Wilson still looking to reach base for the first time. As we do have a switch upcoming in the designated hitter spot, will be Joe Amato to bat for John Pomerico. That's still a long ways away down at the bottom of the batting order, though. That change has been confirmed from down the hall as Jordan Wilson takes a called strike.
Yeah, we do also want to let our viewers know and our listeners know that if they do have questions or comments, they can always reach out to us, Joe. And, of course, even our YouTube feed has a live chat feature, although we don't really pay attention too much to that, especially only when there's technical difficulties.
Well, if they comment, we will pay attention. If we get some entertaining quotes, is laying down a bunt and then...
Yeah, bunt single and then an advance on an error. And, Joe, that would be the 6th error for Baruch in this game, and that's the most they've had in a single game all season long.
Well, it doesn't appear as if an end to that sloppy play in the field is in sight. Those errors have been spread out over the course of the first 7 innings of this game, and Anthony DeMarco will be the batter with Jordan Wilson now standing on second. Errors of just about every variety in this game for Baruch. Anthony DeMarco is the batter. 1 base hit and only 2 official at-bats. Has drawn a pair of walks in this game. And he takes a called strike 1. We also have a change behind the plate. I believe it's a change for Baruch behind the plate. And it's Nicholas Altopiedi in to catch. As the 0-1 pitch skips by the new catcher. And that is indeed Altopiedi behind the plate. So that may go down as a pass ball as Jordan Wilson advances to third.
So Altopiedi behind the plate, like you mentioned, a new pitcher. Up Trejo. So Baruch with plenty of substitutions in this game as well, trying to give as many student athletes a chance. And of course, we mentioned before how Donovan Hunt has caught every single pitch in this doubleheader. It's important to get those kids a break.
Comes the 1-1, and that's out of the zone for ball 2. You mentioned DeMarco has already scored several runs in this game. I believe all 4 times he's reached. He's ultimately come around to score.
Yes, he has.
Here comes the 2-1, and he's forced to duck out of danger as some vocal players at the top of the Dolphins dugout have been that way from about the 5th inning forward. Once CSI really got a big lead, that dugout became more and more vocal.
Yeah, it's something that they do well is they do get behind all of their teammates. They are a very chatty team back there.
As DeMarco hits one well out to center field, but right there to get it is Climb. He launches one in, and that was a pretty respectable throw from out in center field. That one just beyond the mound, halfway between the mound and home plate, but of course not nearly in time to cut down DeMarco, or excuse me, the Jordan Wilson, the runner at third. Credit DeMarco with the sacrifice fly.
Yeah, so DeMarco certainly only 1 for 2 on the afternoon officially, but a sac fly now, two walks, 4 runs scored. That's his 2nd RBI of the game, so very eventful day for Anthony DeMarco.
As Sean Becker takes ball 1. Becker in this game has drawn 2 walks, reached on an error back in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd. Those walks coming in his last 2 at-bats. He had at-bats in innings 3, 4, and 5. As the 1-0 is fouled back. Nick Miola's had a big day behind Sean Becker. Miola, of course, on deck. Already 3 base hits in this game for Miola. He'll get his 5th turn at bat in this inning as Becker takes up high.
Yeah, a lot of walks today issued by the Baruch pitching staff, and obviously when you couple in the errors, 6 of them in total, the most that they've had in a single game this season, it just has spelled doomsday from the start.
When you issue 7 walks and commit 6 errors, that's at least 13 free bases. And things just piled on for Baruch from the get-go in this game. CSI scored a run in the 1st. Looked like the Bearcats might be able to settle down from there, but 4 zeros for Baruch through the first 4 innings. CSI added 4 more in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, and by that point, CSI led 7-0, and they haven't looked back as Sean Becker draws the 1-out walk. That will bring Nick Miola to bat.
It's his 3rd walk of the game, and Miola, who has 3 hits in the game, right behind him, having himself a great day. He's 3 for 4. He's got an RBI, a run scored. Been very busy.
Dolphins have to be thrilled with the way they've performed at the plate in this game. They've been willing to take walks, look at pitches, but they haven't let many good ones get by, and when they've seen pitches to hit, they've driven the ball well. Several well-struck balls in this game by CSI. Not many extra base hits as I look down the Dolphins' side of the scorecard. I only see 1, and that was an Anthony DeMarco double, which is really surprising.
We got Glenn Glenister hit a double as well, Joe. That was to lead off the 6th, and he ended up scoring. But still, you're right. And 9 hits, only 2 extra bases, but 11 runs on the board. A lot of it simply by single bases, walks and singles.
Walks and singles. Often enough, when you draw 7 walks, make it 8 now as Trejo issued number 8 to Sean Becker. Dolphins with 11 runs in this game on only 9 hits, and that's a testament to the poor play in the field and lack of command. And, you know, every time that Trejo comes set to deliver a pitch, I think he's about to throw a quick pitch, and he then settles down into the stretches. That's it well out to left center field. Giving chase is Climb. It's over his head, and that will roll all the way out to the wall. Sean Becker digs for 3rd, and he will hold up there. As Climb did a nice job chasing that ball down on the warning track. It settled at the base of the wall, and Becker forced to hold at 3rd base.
So you were talking about extra base hits, Joe. There's another one for you. 3rd double of the game for the Dolphins. Their 10th hit overall. And now Frank Muzio, who's maybe the only one who hasn't been on base in this game for the Dolphins. Yeah, that's correct.
Right. It is.
Struck out twice, grounded out twice. A chance for him to join the party, and he's got 2 base runners to work with, both in scoring position.
And it looks like Alto Piedi will have a word with Trejo.
And Nick Miola, meanwhile, is now enjoying himself a 4-for-5 afternoon.
Miola's been a presence in the middle of the Dolphins' batting order all season. Really the one player who didn't have a lot of ups and downs. Of course, there were others, but right in the middle of that order, Nick Miola was a constant presence. Behind him, Muzio and Glenister really up and down this season. Muzio, I believe, finished around 260. Glenn Glenister around 220, at least during the pre-tournament season. Season, of course, continues through Saturday. 0-1 the count on Frank Muzio. And that misses outside, evening the count at 1.
Yeah, and that first strike was a big, healthy cut from Frank, too. You know that he's pining for a hit here.
One ball and 1 strike the count. Runner on third is Becker. Miola on second. That's taken down and away for ball 2.
And Frank has always been one of those hitters for the Dolphins who's just a tremendous X factor, too, because you have some steady hitters in the lineup, and then you have hitters like Frank Muzio who can just go off and really change games when he really finds his bat.
Here comes the 2-1, and that misses for ball 3. And the Bearcats just haven't been able to find a pitcher to stop the bleeding in this game. Just about everyone who's come out of that bullpen has struggled to find the strike zone or allow the Dolphins to tee off at the plate. Not really much success for any of the 3 pitchers. Those being Ramirez, Malik, and Lawler. Now Trejo. And
that's a gift of a strike, too.
He finds the outside corner with that pitch, at least according to the home plate umpire. He's in danger of issuing his second walk of the inning here. It would be the second walk issued to the last 3 batters as chance of moves come from the Dolphins dugout. Here's the payoff pitch, and that's not even close. It skips into the glove of Alto Piedi. And on with the walk is Frank Muzio, who has now reached for the first time in this game.
And how about Glenn Glenister, Joe? The first 3 times at bat, he had runners at second and third. The last time he was up at bat, he had nobody on. He was the leadoff hitter, and he scorched a double, one of the best hit balls of the night to the right field line. And now he's back up again with 3 runners on base. So in 4 out of his 5 at-bats, he has had 9 runners on bases and 8 in scoring position, as our scoreboard just went out in center field. Now it's back on, thank goodness.
And the first pitch to Glenister, and he took a home run cut on that swing. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. He knows his team is up by a bunch and wanted to make that one hurt.
That's putting it mildly, home run cut. That's about as big of a swing as I've seen this year. As there was a pinch runner over at first base. That was Vincent Brennan running for Frank Muzio as Glenister fouls one off and quickly finds himself behind 0-2.
Baruch College came into this 2018 season, Joe, as the preseason team to beat. They were first in the polls, in the preseason polls, and they've slipped remarkably to number 5 in the standings. Only won 10 games during the regular season, so definitely a down year. This is a perennial favorite each year. Dolphins took a little bit of an exception to that preseason poll when they were announced as the second-place team, especially when they brought back so much talent.
As Glenister takes another big cut and comes up empty, he goes down on strikes for the second out. And taking a look at the numbers for Baruch, it's not hard to see why they slipped in those rankings so quickly. A 271 team batting average, not all too bad, but the team ERA up over 6, and opponents pitching to under a 5 ERA against the Bearcats, and opponents hitting 320 as well against Baruch College. So certainly the numbers speak to why Baruch fell in those rankings, as that's popped up on the infield. And ranging back to make the catch is McGroarty for the final out in the bottom half of the 7th. Dolphins add 1 more run. Their lead is now back up to 10-hour score through the first 7 innings here at the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins 11 and Bearcats 1. Baruch comes to bat in the top of the 8th when we come back.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number one goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-One physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
And we're back here at the CSI Baseball Complex. Vincent Brennan will stay in. He replaced Frank Muzio on the base paths after Muzio drew a walk to load the bases, and Brennan will indeed stay on to play first base for the Dolphins. Here in the top half of the 8th inning, Dolphins lead is 10 runs. Our score 11-1, and Christian Capion returns to the mound for the Dolphins, Dave. He has been fantastic for CSI thus far.
He's been great, and this is exactly what the Dolphins needed from him, a nice long outing to keep the other arms fresh in the dugout and in the bullpen, obviously. And he's going to be facing Nicholas Altopiedi for the first time. He came in, of course, to catch for Baruch in the defensive part of the 7th inning.
As the first pitch is hit softly on the ground over to third, and DeMarco really got handcuffed by that ball, came up on it, and was halfway between a backhand and fielding it in between the legs. Couldn't make the play, and that will be the first Dolphins error.
Yeah, first Dolphins error for the night, so it allows Altopiedi to advance to first base. And Michael McGroarty will be the batter for Baruch.
McGroarty in this game without a base hit, did reach on a walk back in the 4th. Officially 0 for 2, and
so we have a pinch hitter coming up for Baruch.
It's Jorge Keith Mercado. And that misses outside for ball 1. Mercado did get an at-bat in game number 1. Late in that game. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's fouled just over the room at the end of the hall.
Yeah.
Maybe just wide.
A lot of cars parked back there as well.
Much tougher to find that lot from here. That would be extremely demoralizing. Go back to your car after a long night only to find you got plunked in the softball parking lot from the baseball field.
Yeah, that's never fun. Want to give a shout out to our good friend and colleague Bobby Drake, who's chimed in to wish us well on the broadcast, likes what he sees. He's obviously home from work or is catching us on the phone or tablet or whatever he's got going on. But, of course, Bobby will be one of your voices tomorrow for the CUNY triple header here tomorrow afternoon beginning at 12 noon. 2 losing teams from today's action will face off first.
That's chopped on the ground over to third. DeMarco's only play is to first, and keeping his foot on the bag was Brennan to record the out. So a nice play there by the Dolphins, as that's the first out of the inning.
Yeah, and those are the plays that Anthony DeMarco can be counted on to make, as we have another pinch hitter. It'll be Connor McCabe. Connor McCabe. Not sure what he was called via the public address. Joe's enjoying it though. You got to get yourself together, Joe. You're doing play-by-play here.
It was a rough one. That's it on the ground over to short, and Navertny's throw wide at the bag, and Brennan unable to keep his foot anchored. I think it went something like McCabe, but it certainly was not. It certainly was not McCabe.
Oh boy!
I apologize.
First and third now, so Cappy on a little bit of a little trouble here, and it's because of 2 Dolphin errors, and that's frustrating for a pitcher, Joe, because when you're rolling along and motoring along, and your fielders are doing well behind you, and to have these innings prolonged, that's takes a lot out of you.
Well, the Dolphins, of course, will be looking to Capion to go the distance at this point. Their lead is 10 runs. There's no action up in the bullpen.
It is Maurer now the batter for Baruch, as they are emptying out here the dugout.
Much like they did in the early game, unfortunately, this time it's because they trail big. Had a big lead, of course, over the Beavers earlier in the day. It seems like ages ago.
Yeah, and we've had really 2 games here that have just, I don't want to classify them as blowouts, but just really, apart from the early innings, just been one-sided with one team comfortably ahead. It was Baruch in the first game. They won 19-7. And CSI motoring along here 11-1. Baruch looking to put a damper on things.
Here's the 1-2, and that swung on and missed. So a strikeout for Christian Capion. Had a lot of those early in this game. The strikeout numbers have slowed a bit since. Assuming I'm reading my scorecard correctly, that is number 6. Capion had 4 in the first 2 innings. But again, the scorecard just a complete mess at this point. Not much good, especially the Dolphins side. As that's it out to straightaway center. Getting underneath it is Wilson, and he makes the catch for the final out of the inning. So another 0 up on the scoreboard for Christian Capion. He's allowed only 1 run through the first 8. Dolphins come to bat in the bottom half of the 8th, leading by 10 runs. Our score, CSI 11, Baruch 1. More CUNYAC Championship Baseball when we come back.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America and your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
There's one.
It's you, man.
And we're back from the CSI Baseball Complex. Dolphins lead is 10 as I tried to update my scorecard, but I think that's a lost cause at this point. Hopefully we won't need it with the Dolphins leading by 10, at least for CSI's sake. Hopefully I don't need any more space on my scorecard. Is
Joe Amato.
Joe Amato will get his first at bat.
Yeah, he was due up last inning, but never got a chance to step up to the plate.
And the first pitch, Amato seizes in for a called strike 1.
Amato was a junior transfer last year, so this is his senior season. Batting an even 200, 5 of 25 from the dish.
Amato behind in the count 0-1. And his standout moment this season as he hits one through the hole up the middle for a base hit. And I was about to mention Joe Amato's brightest moment of the year, a walk-off base hit early in the season. I believe it was against John Jay, if I recall correctly, a game that Bobby Drake and I covered. But Amato earned his spot on the homepage of CSIDolphins.com, something that Bobby Drake told me was a goal of his.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He earned that spot.
He called the shot on that one.
And we have a pinch runner. Scott Fodor will be the pinch runner for the Dolphins.
And Scott Fodor, one of those kids who was really highly touted during the offseason, never really materialized this year, his freshman year, as an infielder. But Dolphins have a lot of hopes for Scott upcoming, and they've graduated a big class, or they will be graduating a big class, will the Dolphins. So they expect a lot from Scott, and now he's in at first base.
And Jet Navertney will be the batter as a chant of Jet erupts once again from the Dolphins dugout. We heard that earlier in the game.
Jet Navertney, of course, the defending CUNY Rookie of the Year. This is his sophomore season, his third year academically at CSI. Did not play his freshman year.
Well, the chant of Jet made me think back to my last tenure as public address on softball, as that's lofted out into shallow right field, but coming on to make the catch is, I want to say Edwin St. Hilaire, but I've lost the defensive substitutions, so I could be wrong.
I think it is still St.
I think it
Hilaire back
is.
there.
Yeah, I think that's, well, it looks like number 9 from here, but who can tell from this distance? That doesn't look like a 3, so we'll get that sorted out. But anyway, the chant of Jet reminded me of my most enjoyable moment on public address this year. I got to play the New York Jets draft pick over the microphone during a break in the action, which is something I enjoyed. Got to announce the Giants draft pick as well, as that's chopped foul by Jordan Wilson. Wilson reached on a bunt single. That was his first time on base in this game. Was 0 for 4 prior to that at bat in the 7th. Oh, 0-1 the count on Wilson. And the pitch from Trejo was lined right back up the middle for a base hit. That's the second Dolphins hit of the inning, and they now have 2 men on with 1 out for Anthony DeMarco.
Yeah, so the first time that Wilson got on base was via a bunt that he then extended, after an error. But that time he had a nice line drive stroke. That's what the Dolphins want to see from him. And, he's as far as batting average is concerned, he leads the Dolphins in that category. So it's good to see him hitting.
DeMarco has put in some good work at the plate in this game, as you just mentioned. Now bats with 2 men on. Has scored several runs, driven in a couple as well. He scored 4 times and driven in a pair. 1-0 the count. And that misses down and away for ball 2. No action in the Bearcats bullpen. That's not surprising, as they've already gone through, I believe now, 4 arms in this game. And Trejo is indeed the 4th pitcher for Baruch College. Fortunately for the Bearcats, they only had to throw 2 pitchers in game 1 against CCNY, as that's lined right into the glove of, again, whoever's playing at shortstop at this point. I think that's still David Campion. It is, and he flips on over to second to double off Fodor for the final out of the inning. So the Dolphins see their bottom half of the 8th end on a double play, and will head into the 9th, leading by 10 runs. Last chance for Baruch when we come back here on CSI Sportsnet.
No one ever won a race because it was their turn. And guzzling the right sports drink never won all 3 sets. You can't talk your way through a tournament, and luck doesn't last. Real champions know that it takes more to do more, because wanting it just isn't good enough. You've got to be smarter, faster, tougher. After all, if championships were easy, everybody would have one. City University of New York Athletic Conference. Learn, play, succeed.
Here at Tim Hortons, we know what mornings are all about. Bacon. Wake up to 6 strips of crispy bacon on a toasted everything bagel. The new Bacon Everything Bagel Sandwich. Great quality at a great value. It's all good at Tim Hortons.
Well, a revelation for me on the live stats application, as there is indeed a defensive alignment that can be triggered just by simply clicking one of the numbers. So that will be of great assistance to me moving forward, and it will no longer require me to handwrite the defensive alignment, which often gets lost as we constantly switch seats during the game. I lost it in game 1. Many substitutions here in game 2 have made it impossible to follow to this point, as Baruch has emptied the dugout late in this game, but the Dolphins have not made a change at pitcher. That's not surprising, as Christian Campion will come out for the 9th inning.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done a great job, and aside from a couple of errors in the last inning, he's been in and out pretty quickly in every inning. And Dolphins hoping to put a bow on this one here. 3 more outs. They're in full control, 11-1. It's been tough. It's been tough for the public address here.
It's certainly, we talked about service with a smile, and us always broadcasting with a smile, which may not be entirely true, but for the most part it is. And certainly today with some of the botches, it's kept smiles on our face throughout the evening.
You know, it's funny because I got a text, obviously people listening to your favorite moment, they asked me, well, what's my favorite moment? And this is it. I mean, when you get to go to work and you get to, do things like this and enjoy the presence of people's company and laugh. And, obviously what we do is we take it very seriously, what it is that we do, but we do have a lot of fun with it too. And that's a lot of the beauty. But, we work with a lot of young people here, and Andrew, our PA announcer, I know is in a big spot, got some names that he doesn't know how to pronounce pretty well. And, he's definitely, stepping up.
Learning on the job is
absolutely, and that's what
get these names down.
That's that's what it's all about. I mean, that's part of why we're doing it here and why we're streaming and not on NBC doing this.
And that's ripped down the line. That will go for an extra base hit. And falling down halfway between first and second base was Valeriano, and I think he was thinking triple. That thought quickly left his mind as he face planted on the dirt between first and second base.
Well, it was a good thing that he hit that so sharply in the hole, because otherwise, if it was a close play, he might have been nailed out at second base. But St. Hilaire is the batter. He's still in the game, as we mentioned earlier.
That loss of footing certainly doesn't take away from how well he hit that ball, but I already had a smile on my face calling that action, and watching him go down drew some laughter. That's hit well out to right field. That will go all the way to the wall in the corner. Coming around to score easily will be Valeriano. Taking the turn and heading for third is St. Hilaire. The throw coming in. St. Hilaire sliding, and he is out at third base. Great relay throw. Didn't catch who it was who made that, though. I'm not sure if you saw it, Dave, but right on the money as St. Hilaire is out at third.
Yeah, I didn't catch it, Joe, but the bottom line is that was just a great play. First of all, a great piece of hitting by St. Hilaire to go into right field, put that over. I mean, Nick Miola has to make the play first, to get it started. But the Dolphins record an out. Run does score, so Baruch is on the board here in the top of the ninth.
Those last couple of swings by Valeriano and St. Hilaire, two of the best we've seen in this game. Those balls hit very well, one to the left field corner and one to the right field corner. First one pulled down the line, the second an opposite field shot. And coming to bat is David Capion, who's had a great day for the Bearcats, as I almost called Baruch the Beavers, and that's taken on the outside corner for a strike. Capion with 2 hits in this game, had 4 hits in the earlier game. He's also driven in a run in this game. Of course, that being one of the 2 Bearcat runs. He's in a 2-strike hole. And the 0-2 from Capion is swung on and missed. He had David Capion way out in front of that breaking ball, severely off balance in the batter's box, and the Bearcats are down to their final out.
Yeah, so they managed to piece together a run here in the top of the ninth, but now we have a pinch hitter.
It's Jacob Auerbach.
Auerbach also had an appearance in the first game against City College for Baruch. But if the score holds, and we expect it to, Joe, then tomorrow afternoon at 12 noon, it will be Baruch College versus Finlandia. Baruch will serve as the home team for that game, and that will be an elimination game. The loser will be out of the tournament. The winner will come back for a 6 o'clock game. Tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock, it will be CSI versus John Jay College. And the winner of that game, that 3 o'clock game, automatically gets a pass to the CUNY Championship on Saturday.
So a big game between the Dolphins and Bloodhounds looming tomorrow, but in terms of keeping their season alive, an even bigger game for the Bearcats, as we'll get one last look at the scenarios before we go off the air tonight. And that 2-1 pitch is in for a called strike 2. So the count evens at 2, and the Bearcats are down to their final strike. Christian Capion looking to go the distance. Now as few as 1 pitch away from doing so. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And he just got a piece, did Auerbach, and tops that one foul. Results from earlier today that we've mentioned several times already. Finlandia over Lehman, eliminating the Lightning, and then John Jay over Finlandia. Those games played at Purchase, as that's it on the ground to short. Divertney fields it cleanly and throws on over to first for the final out. Christian Capion goes the distance for the College of Staten Island, allowing 2 runs and 8 base hits in 9 innings. The College of Staten Island defeats the Bearcats of Baruch College by a score of 11-2.
Yeah, you know what? Just what the doctor ordered as far as Christian Capion's performance. Saves a lot of arms. And, just a great performance for the Dolphins all around, something they can be really proud of. And they've got a good head of steam going into tomorrow's games.
Final line for Capion in this game, 9 innings, 2 runs, both earned, 8 base hits surrendered. He walked 1 batter and struck out 7. He threw 125 pitches in this game, but he gave the Dolphins exactly what they were looking for, a complete game effort that allows the Dolphins to preserve some of their pitching depth that will certainly be of use to them tomorrow against John Jay. And, of course, CSI would love to see yet another complete game effort, but that may be asking a bit much. And Christian Capion, the ace of this Dolphin staff, goes out on the mound today and gives the Dolphins the complete game effort. I just mentioned the line, a great job by Christian Capion. As you get a look at what transpired today and what we have on deck tomorrow as well, Bobby Drake and I will be on the air here at baseball. Mike Babuski down over at softball. You mentioned first the losers game being played at 12 o'clock. Finlandia fell to John Jay, so they will play Baruch College, which, of course, just lost to the College of Staten Island by a final score of 11-2. And then later in the day, we'll see CSI back in action against John Jay in the winners game. The Dolphins and Bloodhounds, of course, met during the regular season. CSI won both of those meetings, though the first game, a very close one. I believe the Dolphins did trail in that game before ultimately coming back to win it. So an entertaining day of baseball on deck. Tomorrow, of course, softball as well will be taking place down the hill, both being broadcast on CSI Sportsnet.
Yeah, absolutely. 4 games for softball beginning at 11 a.m. You can catch them on CSI Sportsnet live with Mike Babuski. He'll have all 4 games for you. He'll be riding solo, so some Iron Man work for Mike tomorrow morning, afternoon, and night. And Bobby Drake and Joe Foreman will be back on the air tomorrow right before our first game at 12 noon here for baseball. A triple header. You see the games on your screen. Baruch against Finlandia at 12, CSI against John Jay at 3, and then, of course, the winner of the Baruch-Finlandia game against the loser of the CSI John Jay game in another elimination game at 6 o'clock tomorrow. So a lot of baseball, a lot of softball, probably the most hectic day at CSI, and hectic for us at CSI Sportsnet as well, as we'll have 2 broadcasts going on at the exact same time. Choose which one you want to watch, but of course the place to be is CSI to see it in person. Should be a nice day out. There'll be plenty of folks out here. Obviously, our concession stands will be open, so we hope everybody will join us tomorrow.
I do have one question before we sign off,
Sure.
Dave. Does Mike know that he is potentially keeping the scoreboard for softball tomorrow?
He is not keeping the scoreboard for softball tomorrow. We do have a hand on deck to do that for him.
All right, I'm sure he will appreciate that. As I've kept scoreboard for softball as well on 1 or 2 occasions this year, and not too bad, but I know Mike hasn't done it yet and didn't seem particularly interested when I showed him my iPad, so it's good that we have a hand helping him out tomorrow.
Right.
And again, baseball and softball both on CSI Sportsnet. Baseball begins at 12 p.m. tomorrow with Bobby Drake and I. And for Dave Pizzuto, this has been Joe Foreman, and from all of us here at the College of Staten Island, we thank you for watching. Once again, our final score between the Dolphins and Bearcats, CSI wins 11-2. Our next baseball broadcast, of course, will be tomorrow. We'll be on the air at approximately 11:40 a.m. Bobby Drake and I will have the call as Finlandia will play against Baruch in an elimination game. That first game tomorrow, again, first pitch at 12 p.m. If you can attend the game here at the CSI Baseball Complex, be sure to join us here on CSI Sportsnet at csidolphins.com for that broadcast. And until then, enjoy the rest of your night.